evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are. We just want you to enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to visit our refreshment center during the intermission or any time. You love the tasty arrangement.
Down in the basement with the VHS. On a scale of 1 to 6, which one is the best? Ninjas, monsters, rock and roll. I got analog blood and a beta soul. Neon Lord with the glug jug handy. The night's the night for raviolis for Randy. Raviolis, raviolis for Randy. Raviolis, raviolis for Randy. Mac and me, Munchie and Mandy. Raviolis, raviolis for Randy. Raviolis for Randy tonight.
Ripped from the pages of the Pastanomicon and filmed in glorious marinara vision, where we got the monsters are cold and the manicotti's hot. This is Ravioli for Randy, episode 8, Grindhouse Madness, with Ben Maz as our guest. He have co-creator of a role-playing game called Don't Tell Mom and Dad, and as you know, my sidekick and forever compatriot, heterosexual life mate Joey Royale.
Hello, everybody. Ciao. Happy Saturday. Guess what I had for dinner tonight?
Pizza.
What's that?
Raviolis. Raviolis. I had raviolis, and I had with stuffed bread. I had the raviolis in a nice red sauce, stuffed bread, so with spinach and mozzarella. It was wonderful. I am all set. I am full and ready to talk about the most disgusting 2 weeks of cinema I've ever experienced.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Very
you know, you actually your radar wasn't off. I ate pizza today.
There you go.
I worked that event, and I was so starving by the end that I literally pulled a move I've only pulled a handful of times in my life, which was I ordered the pizza before I was home and was like, I want the pizza to get there 5 minutes after I walk in the door. And had the foresight to call ahead.
Very
I
nice.
respect that. You were intentional. Philadelphia, right, Ben?
Yes.
All right.
South Philadelphia.
5 seconds. Best pizza in Philadelphia.
God, come on. That's a 5-second question.
I lost you.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, where'd he go?
He dropped out. He got offended by the pizza question. I'm sorry. I'm ruining it already.
No, you're good. We'll just, I don't know what we'll do. It's live, Joey.
Let's tell knock jokes until he comes back on.
All right.
Let me see. I'm going to jump in here.
There he goes. We got him.
We got him. He's back.
He's back. You guys are just flipped. That's okay. You're good.
Did I mess everything up somehow?
No, you're
Sorry.
good. You just ended up flipping, but I'm good with the messing up with the OBS. So we just.
Oh, okay.
I thought I offended you. I'm not going to.
No.
How dare that masked man?
No, I was about to give you the real thing. You're going to get. Are we back on?
Yeah. You're good.
If you're going for a straight pie, let's get a full pie right now. Order it. It's Angelo's, hands down, in my opinion. You can only order there. You have to go in and order there and pay cash. You go in, you get the pie. It's $20 a pie.
Okay.
Killer pie. Right down the street from that, if you're trying to get a slice coming out of the window, let me just get a slice and a fountain soda. The lesser known Lorenzo's. There's a really famous Lorenzo's on South Street. The one on 9th at 9th and Christian is my go-to, like, yo, I'm hitting 9th Street. Let me just grab a slice. You can literally go to the window. Those are my 2 suggestions.
Very good. Very good. Philadelphia is a great town. Did you grow up there?
No, I grew up in the burbs north of there, but at this point I've lived here almost as long as I lived in the burbs. You know what I mean? You're hitting that
Gotcha.
age.
Yeah.
I've lived here off and on since I was like 21. So yeah,
All
I'm
right.
36 now. So
I had a roommate in college who lived in Haverhill.
Haverhill?
Drexel Hill, Haverhill area.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I know Drexel Hill. I can't believe I've never heard Haverhill.
Maybe that's my other. No, that was Massachusetts. That was my other roommate. Bobby lived.
Okay.
Bobby lived in Drexel Hill. I went down there.
Drexel Hill, yeah, Drexel Hill. I know. Definitely.
I was gonna say I know a Haverhill, Mass.
That's what I'm talking. I had 2 roommates. One was from Haverhill, Mass, and a bunch of them up there, and the other one was from Drexel Hill. And we spent back and forth.
You spent too many times up at Lake Winnipesaukee, Joey.
I drank all that Pisaki water.
All right, let's talk. Don't tell mom and dad, Ben.
Don't tell mom and dad.
Yes, indeed.
What's your main? Give us the elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch for Don't Tell Mom and Dad is it's an entry-level tabletop role-playing game in which we replace wizards, warriors, thieves, and bards with jocks, nerds, rascals, and weirdos. Reminiscent of Monster Squad, Goonies, The Gate, kids' adventure films. I mean, even Stranger Things that's out now. Wasn't really in mind when we created this game, but obviously insane overlap.
Yeah.
But it's a very simple D20 system tabletop game in which the players, you can only be between age 7 and 15, and you pick your style of kid and where you're from, and then the players create a small town with modular map tiles that we have onto a table together. So every group's experience is pretty one of a kind, and unique because no 2 towns are ever made the same. And then that's kind of your only basis. It's not an infinite world like many worlds out there in like RPGs. So it's in a lot of ways, it's a board game without a board and an RPG with borders.
Oh, I like the sound of that very much.
Yeah.
Modular map tiles, huh? So you physically build the town?
Yeah. So there's everything is broken down either between a hot spot or a mega structure. Yep. Hot spots are going to be places like comic shops, arcades, pizza parlors, things like that. Your mega structures are going to be big like factories, the dump, the junkyard, the school, big giant places. And that's how those map tiles are basically broken down into 2 different sizes. And we have downloadables so you can just print them straight out. You don't need to cut them out of your book. But of course, being the kids' aesthetic that we love, we definitely have little cutout marks, little dotted lines, you know what I mean, for each of the places. So if I could pull something like that, there's a couple spots, you know what I mean? All just quickly graphically designed by us. We are working very soon towards getting those actually drawn in isometric art.
So this was
very excited about that.
Kickstarter, and this is a timely visit to the show, Ben, because I just literally right before we started, ladies and gentlemen, I just ordered it off of their big cartel, Weird Hobbies, right?
Yep, that's us, Weird Hobbies Inc. That's where many other games and modules and stuff will be coming soon.
Trivia
25
question.
clams right there. I just did it.
You can't beat it.
You can't beat it. It's a fine looking book. We were talking right before it started, folks. I love the matte finish on the front. And I was telling Bri that Neon Lord soft cover with the matte finish, chef's kiss. Very, very gentlemanly. I love that.
Hey, here's a thing, Ben. Who was the #1 Kickstarter backer? Do you know that?
I bet it was you, Brian.
It was me.
If it wasn't you, it was my one aunt who's like an awesome ass aunt.
No,
fan.
I beat your aunt.
You beat her, right?
Yeah, I was #1. Number one. Day one, number
that's
one.
So awesome, man. I'm so flattered. You guys got me blushing. You're getting the true me. I had such a long day working the punk rock flea market that you're getting 100% real me now. So I'm going to be blushing, laughing. That means a lot, guys. Thank you so much.
You got it.
That's really exciting.
Well, it looks like it's right up our alley. You know, we all our foundation, of course, I don't know, for me at least, the starting out was the fantasy, which I still enjoy. But what I've been really having the most fun with gaming is these alternative settings where it's not it's not even too fantastic, but then at the same time, I don't know, man. Going back to those days, going down to the cul-de-sac with a slingshot, an asthma inhaler, in a juice box.
That's a good loadout.
That life than killing a dragon. I want to go find the aliens.
Right, that's a great loadout. Yeah, like actually speaking on that, when we were designing this game, me and Ted Gilbert, who I'm sure will be on this stream very soon, we kind of were deciding like to what level of fantasy we wanted it to be, because obviously we wanted the fucking excuse my language, wanted the mailman to be a werewolf if we wanted him to be. We wanted there to be weird alien cults and stuff like that. And we were like, well, let's actually like think of it just like this. Like, let's, instead of calling it fantasy, we call everything kid logic. So that's kind of the fantasy world in which our game, like the puddle that you play in. So you can use a pogo stick to hop a fence. You can lasso someone with a jump rope. You know what I mean? All those things you really wish you could have did,
Sure.
And they could do in the movies.
Yeah.
So that's the fantasy level.
Like, did you ever get a grappling hook to work when you were a kid? I made so many grappling hooks. I mean, I got my son Elvis. He's 11 years old. He found we found like a little anchor, like a little boat anchor at a yard sale or something. He picked it up and he's trying to climb the house with it. He put a dent in the vinyl siding. He's trying to climb the house with it. But man, in the movies, it always worked. Ben, before we get into the Grindhouse end of things, what was could you share a neighborhood mystery from when you were a kid that may have contributed to Don't Tell Mom and Dad? Was there
absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I'll hit you with the two back to back. First of all, just to tag on your grappling hook, I actually had a time where I hurt myself. We made a grappling hook by tying rope on the end of like this big metal, I don't even know what it was, like a metal rod thing that we found. Yeah. And we tied rope to it. And we're like, we're going to use it like a grappling hook, and tossed it over a tree branch. And then when I grabbed it, it literally unraveled and came down on me. And like, it was not only do I agree that they never work, but they could in fact hurt you. But no, we had an open giant, I don't know what it was. I guess it was just like a water runoff piping system, but like we called it the sewers. And we would literally pack backpacks and head into the sewers. They were probably 3-foot openings, maybe like 3 to 4 foot opening. Couldn't get through it now, but like when we were young, we would go through it. It was all the way in the back of our neighborhood in this like gully that this giant spout came out of. And we would literally, like you said, be like juice box, slingshot, pocket knife, and a flashlight. And we would like load bags and we would go into the sewers as far as we could go until we got too scared and backed out. But we would go into our neighborhood. We would like look out the drains like up top and be like, oh my God, like I know where that is. Like that's so-and-so's house.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Oh, the joys of youth. The joys of youth, everybody.
Yeah, that, and we had this awesome Wiccan occult couple that used to hold pagan rituals in their backyard that we used to watch them through the bushes. They would actually do the maypole and like bring out this giant rose quartz that they had, and like all had flowing dresses. They did the whole thing. It was awesome. They had the coolest costumes for Halloween every year. I remember the one guy had a bird head that was made with feathers. Like I'd never seen anything like it. Like he answered the door and I was like, he's a bird. This guy is a bird head.
That is so great. Cool. Definitely can bring that stuff to the table.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Beef is in the house. I say hello. Beef
is in the house. Let's do.
Works.
We got some show notes we got to do, Joey. I got to get you on track here.
Go ahead.
So Popcorn Primavera, folks. We got a date.
Yes.
So rather than Ravioli for Randy in 2 weeks, we're gonna do Popcorn Primavera this time in 2 weeks from today. So let me pull up the old. That is May 7th at 9:00 Eastern. Will be Popcorn Primavera.
And for the uninformed, what is the difference between a Popcorn Primavera and a Ravioli for Randy?
So Ravioli for Randy is the show me and Joey do here, but Popcorn Primavera is going to be a watch party Ben, where I have the popcorn Primavera 20. It's a list of 20 movies I picked. Munchie is number 1,
Fuck yeah.
and then Mac and Me is number 20. And I'm gonna roll a d20, and then whatever movie we hit, we're gonna watch. And then
Oh damn.
that movie goes out of rotation. But Munchie and Mac and Me always stay. So if we roll 3 fumbles, we're gonna watch Munchie 3 times in a row on Pasta Primavera.
Oh
Popcorn
my
Primavera.
goodness. Have
Right,
you crit
now-
failed already?
No, we've never done it. We've been trying to get this up and running for a while now. So like,
Right. What are some of the movies that people can maybe dip their feet into? What are we expecting?
let
here?
me pull up the list.
There's
you
some
will.
deep cuts in this, Ben. This
Ben-
is
This
Okay.
is Ben's list. Ben will love everything on this. All right, you ready?
Yeah, what do
So,
we got here?
We got number 1, Munchie, Freaked, 2009 After the Fall of New York, Street Trash, Sorority Babes, in the Slime Bowl of Rama, Toxic Avenger, Psycho Gorman, Ninja 3, The Domination, Deathstalker, Troll 2, Spookies, Class of Nukem High, Suburban Commando, Wild Zero, Tammy and the T-Rex, TC 2000, New York Ninja, Hell Comes to Frogtown 2, Neon Maniacs, and Mac and Me.
Man. Okay. Yeah, you change out Mac and Me and Frogtown 2 with Frogtown 1, and you've got like kind of a desert island pile right there for me. You're right. That's a legit. I didn't really. Yeah, 2 is a fun ride, but
We
1 is so good.
Oh yeah, we've talked about 1 constantly. I've never seen 2, and I've been waiting to roll it on there. I have a DVD copy of it that is waiting.
So that
to
would be your
cracked.
first watch, Bry?
It'll be my first watch on that one. Yep.
Oh, wow. Wow, that'll be interesting.
Oh,
That'd be
man.
cool to see that one, yeah.
Yeah, Robert Czar.
Yeah.
Strap in.
Yeah.
It's-
I've seen stuff about it, but unfortunately, I have not seen it yet.
yeah, I have a really shitty VHS copy of it. Like
You
it's
got quite a
it's
collection back there.
Yeah, this is a good chunk of it at this point. Yeah, I mean, I used to work at a video store back when they traded the VHS, and we, from VHS to DVD, and grabbed them then, and have been a film freak my whole life. And I mean, I'm also an analog. I record all analog, collect cassettes, vinyl, VHS. I record on 4 tracks and 8 tracks. Yeah, so thank you. It just doesn't stop, I tried to sell. I sold Brian some.
I was at an estate sale today, and I came very, very close to buying a reel-to-reel. This guy, the guy must have been an old Italian guy who had an obsession with audio equipment. It was just hundreds of CD players and speakers, mostly garbage.
He was probably an informant.
But he could have been. He could have been. An informant who loved leather jackets. I got a nice bomber. You're like a whole garage of leather jackets. And they were all bomber jackets with big fur collars. So I had it.
My favorite jackets.
My wife made me buy one. I said, "What am I going to do with this?" She goes, "You have to. It's for the character. You have to." And I said, "What character? This is who I really am." But it was weird. It was a very disturbing mid-century house, all different layers, with like atriums with like flowers inside glass. It was disturbing. He had a whole collection of like Shirley Temple dolls too. Single guy, just died. But where was I? Oh yeah, the reel-to-reel. I almost picked up a beautiful reel-to-reel, but they wanted too much for it.
What if there was some like Watergate stuff still like on the reel-to-reel?
So I was looking. I went into closets, like the roped off places, looking for actual reel-to-reels. I didn't find that, but the guy did, and I might go back tomorrow. I wanted to pick your brain on this. There was a big box of VHS tapes. It was starting to get too crowded, so I had it out. People were annoying me, but they had a ton of VHSs, like Bob's Retirement Party, 1990.
Oh
yeah,
that's like that found video.
But I think
I got friends who are into that stuff.
I think I'm into it. I'm gonna go pick it up. Maybe there's some weird cult stuff.
People buy those too. Like on like the Facebook groups and stuff. People buy like random weird tapes.
Maybe I'll go back and get that.
Plus,
when you get to a certain point, like that's some of the rarest stuff you can find.
Sure, you're right.
My buddy Hayden Hall, who did the cover of Don't Tell Mom and Dad, he's also Luther of Luther's Mid-Fright Snack. Mega talented artist, filmographer, friend. What's up, dude? If you're watching, he came back to the studio one time with a tape that he was like, dude, I found this security tape. Like, let's put this tape in. And I'm like, all right, we'll watch this tape. And then we put this tape in. And this tape was actually, this guy put a video camera in a wastebasket and aimed it at one of the ladies in his office. Ooh. And it wasn't like a security camera in the corner, like doing that thing. It literally was a hidden camera that he was either trying to find out if someone was talking about him, or he just wanted unfiltered trash footage of a lady who was typing. But like, soon as we realized what it was, we were like, yeah, get this out, like throw this away.
Well, that's the theme of the night. That fits in. That's a perfect segue.
Okay, to segue it in, this is the controversy I was talking about earlier. So, okay, so Grindhouse versus Midnight Movie versus Drive-In Movie. Mm-hmm. Are they intertwined? Are they one and the same? Are they different?
Who wants to go first? I certainly have.
You're the guest. You're the guest, Ben. You go.
Okay, so I do think they may not be the same thing, but they definitely come from the same lineage. Mm-hmm. We're definitely talking about grandpa, pa, and son here. I think of the drive-in era, film was still feeling so fresh and new that I think you were finding drive-ins playing wild and extreme stuff. Now that's starting maybe in the 50s, right? This is just me talking out of my ass.
No, so far you're dead.
This is like how I see it go. And then they're like, yeah, we're trying to get everything. Like, we want it. We'll play Wizard of Oz and we'll do Ed Wood and like, let's make it happen. And then you get into the 60s and that same directors and writers are starting to get crazier and crazier. We're adding now the psychedelic era on top of that. And I think the drive-ins and movie theaters started to pump the brakes a little bit when you're starting to get some of that like Herschel Gordon Lewis stuff, right? And then the Midnight Movie was born. And it's like, okay, we'll still play these at maybe some main theaters or some drive-ins, but they're going to be getting played at like 11, midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. And they pushed it back until you hit the 70s, which is, in my opinion, the golden era of grindhouse cinema, where you actually have like 42nd Street and like all of these small cinemas that they leaned into the Midnight Movie so hard to the point where they're like, well, we're going to play the Midnight Movie at 8 and we're going to play a porno at midnight. Like, so it just got sleazier and sleazier until that origami crane turned into like a crumpled ball of sleazy exploitative mess, which I feel like it's kind of started to burn itself out in like 82, maybe 83. And then by that point, you have your next phase of like kind of mainstream again and a little more tame horror, like, you know, sci-fi that's still rated R and has heads getting cut off, but it doesn't have the dirtiness that the era of film before it had.
And I think
so. Please, someone chime in now.
I'm gonna jump onto what you said. So, Bri, you gave some location, you know, some Midnight Movie drive-in theater and that. So I think my perspective is it's content, and I think that a lot of these. So you had your first-rate movie houses, you had your first-rate drive-in theaters, and then you had small mom and pop ones and smaller theaters that weren't franchised. And I think it a lot came down to budget. What could you license? What could you actually get from these film distributors in order to play everything? I think, the 50s and 60s, that the movies were it, man. Everybody went to the movies. 70s, you went to the movies. 80s, you went to the movies. And you could go to the movies meant a lot of different things. You had your major theaters, you had your drive-ins. And then I remember in my town, we had like cinemas 1 and 2, where those were the dollar movies. I remember that all the way up to probably 87, 88. They still had a couple of those places where they were grinding out, third-rate features, second runs, stuff that the guy got him for a deal. He probably bought a lot of films. I'm not talking about E.T. here. I'm talking about the ones that time forgot. A lot of the ones. To me, Grindhouse itself has now pushed itself out of the thing of, okay, the repetition, or it was in low class theaters. It now is it is a genre that borders, I guess, some people talk about exploitation films, but to me, exploitation films are more of like the 50s, 60s driver's ed scare films, the go-go films, the predecessors of softcore. And now what we are taught, the way I am looking at it now, and this is not, the word of God, but Grindhouse to me is the death of Puritan America. It is just pre, during, and just post the Vietnam War, where neighborhoods were destroyed, where people were coming home in body bags, and the American dream was going down the tubes. You had an increase in, it was after the summer of '67, that whole experiment didn't work with free love. You have the war going on. You have people returning to America, disenchanted. You have drug epidemics breaking out, and the nice, clean America that we know it is that people thought existed. That facade started to fall. The curtain fell, and now all the creepiness that was always lurking in everybody's closets. People were angry. People were sad. People were depressed and traumatized. That all came out in this giant lasagna of just like soiled film. There's a color. There is a literal palette to Grindhouse in my mind. There's yellows and browns and reds.
Yep.
And that's what it is to me.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Gore, nudity, hopelessness, vengeance.
Yep. Yeah. Who's going to pick up this check because Uncle Sam fucked me,
Yeah,
that type of thing. Yeah. I mean, most of the movies that I have in my pile here are going to back that opinion up.
Yep. Cool.
Fear is a big thing. Fear mongering. That's the real exploitation to me of that era, is them exploiting people's fear and sadness. And they can get pretty rough.
Yeah. Bri.
Yeah. I mean, you guys both nailed it. Pretty much. I wasn't gonna go into the depths of the teacher that's in Joey, but
Yeah,
I get a little sociological.
it's all right.
No, I love it.
It's gonna be interesting because, like, kind of like thinking about what you said and looking at my list, like quintessential Grindhouse, like what you would consider like the Grindhouse classics, or like what's the epitome, like the top, like the top 5 Grindhouse movies.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot on there, and some of them are actually I have one on the actual list that's actually fairly new. So that's a hot take, but me on this show, I like to break the rules and have a hot take here or there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Right before the show, we were saying, Ben was asking us, folks, like, so you guys don't actually talk about these? And Brian and I both shared with each other. He was going to call me. I was going to call him because we had questions about the list. We didn't. We're staying kosher with that. But Grindhouse itself, man, once again, boom. What does that mean? There's a lot of things that fall out. And there are things. I have some honorable mentions that I didn't put on just because I stuck to a temporal, a chronological lens. But I watched a movie a couple months ago that is a absolute Grindhouse film. No doubt about it. A Grindhouse film that just came out.
All right,
they are still coming out.
Fire it up.
Yeah.
Let's just get right into the honorable mentions.
All right. So honorable mention, my man, Vince Vaughn.
Cell Block 99. Sorry.
Yep. Brawl in Cell Block 99. From the first scene, it is nothing but violence, vengeance, hopelessness, the inevitability of everybody in that movie dying. Vince Vaughn just literally bludgeons his way through a prison. He just gets in trouble. He starts killing people, breaking bones, slitting throats, so he can get deeper and deeper into that cell block. So, oh my God. I mean, Bri, have you seen this movie?
I've never even heard of it.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Okay, so now
ahead,
of course,
I'm gonna pass the football.
Do you have that director? Do you have that director's name written down?
No, I'll look it up while you talk to him.
So that director, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name because he's a mega. This is a great example, in my opinion, because that director is an insanely controversial director right now. There's all sorts of stuff, and people analyze his movies, and they're like, "Is he racist? Is he a prejudice? Is he misogynist? Is he these things?" And I think the simple answer is that he makes Grindhouse movies. All three of his movies are modern day Grindhouse movies, and they're all. What'd you say?
Craig Zoller.
Craig Zoller, right. And he also made Bone Tomahawk and
Yes, that's
Dragged
right.
Across. Yes, and he did Dragged Across Concrete. But
Oh
all
my
three
God.
of those movies are like really hard to watch Grindhouse films that make you kind of sick. And I think that he's masterful at it.
I had no idea he did Bone Tomahawk. That's an
Oh, yeah.
incredible movie. Brian,
Yeah,
have you seen
yeah.
Bone Tomahawk?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, come on.
Dude.
You
this
crazy? Oh,
Don't
you're
tell
gonna
him.
love
Don't
it,
tell him.
Neon Lord. Hey, guess what else? I'm looking at the. I had no idea. Know what he also did, Brian?
What?
I know what you're gonna say.
Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich.
Oh, nice.
This guy's a nut. Bone Tomahawk. Oh,
Yeah. He
So
also bought Fangoria, by the way.
did
He
he
brought
really?
Fangoria back. He's the guy
Oh
who brought
my
Fangoria back.
God. Brian,
Yeah.
Cell Block 9, Brawl in Cell Block 99. I'm not going to get even into the why because it's so disgusting. Like,
Yeah.
what
Best to
happened
just
his
tell him,
guy's
just watch him.
girlfriend.
it's,
Something terrible happens to this guy's girlfriend as a result for a drug deal gone wrong. And he is then to protect his woman, he is sent into a jail to infiltrate it and get to like one of these head guys and kill him, right? Am I something like that, right?
Yeah, no, you got it. It's a pretty
kill
simple.
this guy. And the abuse he takes and the abuse he delivers, it is non-stop. Just
Yeah.
visceral. The only reason it's an honorable mention because I stuck to a certain time frame. But Vince Vaughn,
Yeah, me too.
Cell
Yeah.
Block 99, crazy.
I didn't
My
stick
wife
to
and I
it that
watched
much.
that at the end. She goes, "What the hell did we just watch?" That's how they're
Yeah.
going to end this. I said,
Yeah.
"That's what these are. That's what this movie is."
What'd
Yep.
you watch it on?
It was it's streaming. It was on I think it was like on Amazon or something like
They're
that.
I'll find
floating
it.
around. All
I'll
those
find it.
movies are floating around.
Bone
I'll-
Tomahawk too. Seriously, let's just call that one a double feature about New Grindhouse. That's a Western. Bone Tomahawk's a Western horror Grindhouse.
No, don't say anything else. Don't say
Okay,
anything else.
All right.
Just let them watch Bone Tomahawk without knowing anything.
you
Don't
can't
watch
know
a
anything.
trailer.
You're right.
We went into it like being like it's a Kurt Russell Western and had our heads explode with what we witnessed.
Kurt
Yeah,
Russell.
we were like, oh, it's a Western with Kurt Russell. We'll always watch that.
I have
Put
a
it
new
on and was like,
Kurt Russell. Just every time I watch a Kurt Russell movie, I love that guy more and more.
yeah.
Does he make your
Yeah,
list
me too.
again, though, Joey?
Well, it's tough, man. No, he doesn't. Not as a number, but as a and I know I'm probably going to put a pin in this one, but he is a runner-up. And like I said, my runner-ups are not because like, oh, they're not as good as the other ones. There's just some of them that I watched over the past couple of weeks and in my past that really boom, boom, stuck out. They're not my favorite movies of all time, but in terms of Grindhouse, they ring the bell loudly.
Yep. I did not
Mhm.
stick to that. I stuck to my favorite 6 in the Grindhouse genre. All right, Ben, you have any honorable mentions?
Oh yeah. I mean, I can do as many as we want here. You told me 6 good ones, so I just matched it with 6 honorable mentions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna come out hard and fast and controversial and very Neon Lords with my first one, which is the original Mad Max.
Interesting.
Which I say is a complete Grindhouse film. One of the big factors of Grindhouse to me and what I picked for my movies where there's some sort of interesting background or mystique about the film that went around. In this sense, I feel like the overdubbing the vocal to having all of the talking being like you didn't hear the original Australian because they didn't think the American audience could handle it, that Australian accent. And I just wanted to throw this out there. We all love this. We don't need to talk about this long, but I always feel like this gets overshadowed by Road Warrior because Road Warrior is such a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But there's something so creepy and beautiful about this movie. It's sometimes like when I watch this movie, when I finish it, I always go, "This is the best Mad Max." And then I watch any of the other Mad Maxes, and I'm like, "No, they're the best Mad." Like, it's something about that series. Like all 4 of them are just really so good in different movies. But this is the most grindhouse and sleaziest of them, in my opinion, honestly. That biker gang, toe cutter, like that whole squad, the way they behave, they hiss, the way that they scare the shit out of you when they go into that town. Like, what a terrifying scene, almost not unlike a Last House on the Left or something.
Yeah.
Like when they're touching people and doing stuff, like people are terrified. Love it. Wanted to drop a post-apocalyptic, honorable mention on here for my Neon Lord.
Hell yeah. It's a subgenre of exploitation is Ozploitation. And that's like the biggest Ozploitation movie is Mad Max. I mean, we've talked about it. It's hit probably pretty near every single episode of the show.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's a perfect example. It's a great throw out to like what what the spectrum of genre of Grindhouse can be, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit mine off with a movie I talk about all the time, Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I love this movie to death. It's like I love it. I have 2 copies of it. I love it so much. It's just
Look at that.
Oh, he's got the VHS. Yep.
Out of the whole wall, he knew exactly where to find that.
Another banger.
I mean,
love that movie.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like it's nonstop from like minute 1 to minute whatever. Probably 90 minutes, Joey. It's probably pretty close to 90 minutes.
It is. I actually was very intentional about keeping track of the time limit of the movies I was watching.
Yes.
And it's 90 minutes. It's almost like 90 minutes.
Yep.
To it.
86.
Oh, 86.
Wow, really? 86?
80. This says 86 on it.
Brutal.
That's almost like, watch this. I'm gonna get all this in under 90. That's another one, Brian, with the color I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's got that shit piss brown color.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
I love it as
Mad Max 90 on the dot.
90 on the dot.
I definitely got to, Ben, I don't know if you've ever watched any of these episodes, but we're big proponents for the 90-minute movie. Like
me too.
We talk about it, I think.
Dr. Runtime.
Yeah.
We just saw the Batman. Oh, God, I'm knocking shit over. We just saw the Batman, loved it. Did not need to be 3 hours long by any means.
Not at all.
Did not need to. The guy in the bat suit did not need to take 3 hours to get the guy in the other face mask.
I'm going to jump into that probably tomorrow. But unbelievable. Bri, you got me. I'll go on a quick tangent. I started after the cartoon episode. I'm getting into the Batman, the New Adventures of Batman, the cartoon, which I never watched. We talked about that. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, the Adventures. Yeah, the
Adventures of Batman. And I'm going back. I'm revisiting, and my wife is so happy about it. We're revisiting all the X-Men cartoons.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that intro? Unbelievable.
I don't know why
right?
I think I was just. I don't know. Maybe I stopped watching TV around that time. I eat it up. I'm like, why was I not watching this? Why was this not a part of my life? I love it. So
I remember Shane watching that. We're talking about the 90s animated Batman.
Yeah, the Fox one, the noir one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good that I remember being like, I shouldn't be watching cartoons. I don't want to watch cartoons right now, but I'm watching this. Yeah. That, and at the same time, there was a Men in Black cartoon that I also like. They were played like back to back a lot. Yeah, and those two like, were like the two cartoons that I was watching when I wasn't really watching cartoons anymore. I was still watching those.
Hobo with the Shotgun was a good one, especially like when the tentacles come out of that door. I'm like, well, I mean, if you think the movie can't get any crazier, then all of a sudden you got those 2 demons and the tentacle coming out. I'm like, oh my God,
the Plague. I would have taken a whole movie on them.
Yeah, we were just
there's an expandable universe there.
I don't know why Mandy. We talk about Mandy all the time.
Yeah.
Mandy, I feel like they stole the Plague in those biker demons. I feel like they definitely did a disservice, and They definitely stole from Hobo with a Shotgun, hands down.
I like to look at it as an expansion of the world that it
Yeah,
exists
yeah,
as an
that Mandy
interdimensional
stands
thing.
out on its own.
Oh yeah, I think
Mandy,
Mandy.
that biker cult is as cool as it gets to me, and Mandy, I think that it's definitely super awesome, and they put that in a real Grindhouse light. Like that movie takes place during the Grindhouse era, like that's late 70s or whatever, and like they're literally post-Vietnam Hell's Angels that have done too much like psychedelic PCP and like have fried their brains. So like that's a very Grindhouse topic. That group, whatever that cult, what are they called in Mandy? Some like cool ass fucking biker name.
Oh, the Black Skulls.
The Black Skulls.
Yeah.
That's why I'm looking forward to Hell Night. That game that's coming
You
out.
know, Joey, I have a page in that book. I wrote some of that.
Do you
RPG.
really, Bri?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. I wrote the biker punk NPC encounter table in it.
Oh man, that makes it even that much cooler. I can't wait to get my hands on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is. This sounds amazing.
Look up Hell Night RPG, man. Gabrielle, if you ever watch this, I'm a big fan. I can't wait to get that in my hands. Hell Night, man. Check it out.
Yep.
Right on.
So Ben, you brought up Road Warrior, where that's another example, I think, where the automobile plays a role as a character. So I'll call it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
My next entry is Carsploitation, and I have a couple of these entries on my list. But just today, I watched Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, which is basically 80 minutes of a car chase and maybe 10 minutes of acting. And that acting is the guy. You've seen this, Ben?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Brian,
I love car flicks. I used to have old cars.
Nope. The only thing I know about it is Death Proof. Like Quentin Tarantino, like it's like he's obsessed with that movie and he talks about it in there. And there's a lot of
that
reference.
and Vanishing Point are like the two 70s car movies. Like you want to see awesome real life car chases, like
a helicopter versus car chase,
right.
Like where the helicopter is really tapping on the top of the car. Which is crazy because Vic Morrow is in the helicopter. He's like the chief of police. He's in the helicopter, and I'm like, oh my God, is this a premonition or what? And then, and I don't care. I'm going to spoil it because how many people are going to go run out and watch Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry? But at the end, you know how it ends, Bri? Boom! You watch, you're rooting on. We finally made it. Boom! T-boned by a train, car blows up, everybody dies, end of the credits roll, end of story.
Credits.
Is it worth the watch?
Yeah, it's worth the watch. Absolutely.
Because I'm steeped in the horror martial arts action side of everything. So like this, I'm not a huge car guy, so that's why I'm just asking.
I'm not going out to my garage listening to Bruce Springsteen changing the oil filters on my hot rod. I mean, that's when I'm a little bit older. I had the money to buy one of those cars. That's my father was a race car driver. You
got to go change the tires of the Dragula.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but like, it's like you don't have to be like a car buff to watch this movie. The car is badass. It's like a 69, 70 Dodge Charger, lime green. Yeah. And what I read was that when the guys were doing the color correction for the film, they thought the color was off of the car. So like all the original prints that went out were too yellow. Like there is an actual yellow filter put over this whole movie. Not in the one I watched. It was a nice copy of what I was watching streaming, but that was a great one.
Joey Royale approved, huh?
Joey Royale approved. Yeah.
All right. Ben, what's your next honorable mention?
All right. Since we're on the vehicle and car exploitation, I'm going to keep trying to ping pong. My next quick honorable mention is not a car movie, but a biker movie. Werewolves on Wheels.
Absolutely. Thumbs up.
So this is what I almost feel like started that Grindhouse, from Midnight Movie to Grindhouse. I think this is late 60s, maybe early 70s. But psychedelic as hell, killer soundtrack, evil cults. I wanted to just pick out a biker flick specifically just to like lean into that. I mean, technically Mad Max, the original Mad Max, is a biker flick, but I love those movies. Very important to me in the Grindhouse era. Freaky, weird, scary, fun, ridiculous. Bikers become werewolves, satanic cults. Fun watch.
Yeah, like biker movies were so Grindhouse popular that like Easy
Right.
Rider came out like after
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
the craze.
Yeah.
that's a great one, man.
Well,
Good choice
bikers were
there.
going to drive-ins and grindhouses. They knew their audience, the one percenter and the Hell's Angel and like all those different those factions, those guys who lived that biker life. They loved it.
So I have an honorable mention that might make a list. So I'll put the name out, and then if it's on a list. So speaking of, we were talking about crazy cults and psychedelia, right? So I Drink Your Blood on the
Yeah,
list.
not on my list.
All right, put
On
a pin
mine.
in it. All right.
We can talk about it.
No,
'cause I
no.
can
Well,
shuffle-
I'll just go to my next. I'll just go to my next. So, well, I would say I honorable mention of the most popular Grindhouse would be Texas Chainsaw Massacre for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You got it on
Yeah,
your list?
not on my
Joey?
list either.
It's on your list?
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's got it. Is that on your list? Is that
it's
what
not
he said?
yeah, he said it's got
that's
it
on
his
my list.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
screw
not
you.
on mine. I steered clear from horror.
Oh, interesting. See,
Ooh,
I had a feeling.
really?
I had a
I went.
feeling.
I mean, you could argue one or two are horror, but I figured that would be taken care of, and what a lot of people think. So I specifically went non-horror.
Nice. All right.
All right. So I will go to my third next honorable mention. Django, the original Franco
Oh,
Nero. We've talked
yeah.
about it on an episode. Like I've never really seen like Django Kills or like the other.
Doesn't matter.
The only one I've ever really watched and the only one I own is the original.
Me too. Me too.
The only two that are canon are Django and Django Strikes Again, which came out in the 80s, which brought Franco Nero back into the role, and his daughter gets kidnapped, and he's much older from that. Huge Franco Nero fan, as you will find out. But yeah, no, the original Django is really the only one. It's just something like Dirty Harry that like started a genre, like
definitely.
of people doing that. Yeah, like Zorro.
Yeah. It's like the Italian Zorro.
Yeah.
The Italian Zorro with an American.
I'm carrying the
style.
torch. I'm carrying the torch. I'm our generation, as the New York Times put it. Joey Royale is our generation's
Italian Zorro.
Yeah, that was in the New York Times last weekend. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Django, like, not to spoil it to anybody, but yeah, like the whole shtick of dragging the coffin, to come to find out what's inside of it at the end. Like
Don't say.
No, I'm not saying
you can't
it.
say.
I'm not saying
We've
it.
been not saying it since the 60s.
Yeah.
You can't say it. You can't say what's in the coffin.
Are you aware of the Takashi Miike remake called Sukiyaki Western Django?
Yeah.
No.
And with Quentin Tarantino is in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Worth a watch.
Yeah.
I got it on the DVD.
Yeah, one watch.
Oh yeah, it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Django, you just named a movie that's like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
So to compare those two is
I know, but
completely ridiculous.
I'm a huge Takashi Miike fan. So,
oh, me too. Blood of the Immortal is one of the best movies, or Blade of the Immortal is like one of my favorite action movies.
Itchy the Killer is insanely awesome.
Yeah. Definitely.
Speaking of Italians, I'll just call this an I don't even want to call this thing honorable because it's not an honorable mention. I'm just going to call it a mention because I watched it and it was so stupid, but I'll probably end up watching it again. My entry is Gone with the Pope.
Oh, yeah.
Gone with the Pope? What a bag of hot garbage. So the plot doesn't make, so like halfway through the movie, like the guy's mission changes. So basically, this knucklehead guy who thinks he's Johnny Suave Italian guy, I don't know the whole story. I didn't want to read too much about it and give the guy the time. The guy seemed like a jerk, but it's like he must have had friends with money, and he just used all their yachts and locations. But basically, this guy gets out of prison, and his last gig is he's going to kidnap the Pope, and the ransom is he's going to ask for $1 from every Catholic to release the Pope.
Wait, I think I've heard of this. This is very familiar. What's the name of it?
Gone with the Pope, which I don't even know what that is. Like Gone with the Wind, but they took out wind and made it Pope.
Oh,
I
it's a
remember that
2010
popping
film?
up like 10 years ago or something. Like, was that ever really released, or was that something
this
that
is
was
the thing.
released?
It's one of those things, Ben. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole story. I
Right.
gotta look into it more. It was one of those things where like the guy died of lung cancer in 1981, and they barely finished the movie. So then it was like what's his name? Like what was it? Like somebody's son. It was like Sylvester Stallone's son.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the one that died, him and another guy resurrected it and like called some pieces together and called it finished finally.
Yeah.
But it's like Goodfellas but community theater.
I've
The guys
definitely
just
seen the
over the top.
preview. I've
But
definitely
the set, like the locations, I absolutely 70s gaudy. Like it's like the Regal Beagle from Three's Company, like all dark shag rug, the golden torches on the wall, and it's just a bunch of old wash-ups. There's not a name in the movie, but it's got it all. It's got blood. There's a couple of shootings. It's not gory or violent, but there's a couple of really funny, assassination scenes. There's exploitative nudity. There's just some really awkward dialogue, and they spend half of the movie is a montage of them taking a boat from like Florida to Rome, like hopping on a yacht, these old men, and like it's just a montage of them like looking at Playboys, cooking sauce, drinking. It's just a mess. But like I don't get it. Like, hey, I heard there's a good movie. Let's go out. Let's get some veal parm. And then we're going to go see Gone with the Pope. It's playing downtown. Like, what were these people thinking? That's the whole thing about this whole Grindhouse thing. Hey,
Right.
I got $50,000. I got $100,000. I got this washed up actor. Let's make a movie. People can't do that anymore. I mean, you can, you throw it on YouTube, but these people were
It's not
putting
the
their
same.
life on the line, like their well-being, financial well-being, to put out schlock. And some of these people actually cashed in.
Well,
Like
Roger
Dirty
Corman.
Harry, Crazy Larry.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Roger Corman, that's like
Oh,
what he
yeah.
did.
That's all. I
He
mean,
made a living.
Corman is a genre.
Yeah.
That guy made a living. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
but also what we have to realize is like we're calling these funny and they're gross and this and that, and they, the Grindhouse. Everybody writes an article about it, like the worst movies ever. Baloney. These movies have been copied more than any other genre.
Absolutely.
Any other.
Well, that's the thing about like if you really look at like Grindhouse as a genre, every genre falls into it. Like, because like I mean, you got exploitation, you got like documentary films, you got horror, you got sci-fi, drama. Like it all intermingles in the Grindhouse scene, for sure.
Almost every flick I picked is a different genre.
Yeah.
And then
I tried
on
to
top
do
of
that,
that, I
yeah.
excluded horror.
But you have to
And I
understand what we're
tried to
talking
pick
about here.
one from each genre. Go ahead. Sorry, bud.
This is before all this stuff. Look at like what we're doing. 3 guys sitting in their houses putting on a TV show. Unheard of, other than public access.
Right.
But these Grindhouse films were made next to nothing. And it's just such a thing. Like these people really took chances. There's nothing funny about these, like the drive that these people had. Like despite the powerhouses of Hollywood, these people went out and said, I don't care. I do not care at all about what you think. And I don't care. My movie might not make a lot of money, but I don't care. I'm a junk food salesman and I'm going to make very good junk food that suits a certain palate. And I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to spend all my money. I'm going to die alone in a sea of bottles in bankruptcy. But I'm going to do these guys, mostly guys, I can say it without being a misogynist. These guys were auteurs. Like, I don't want to oversell the genre. A lot of it's garbage. But if you really look at some of the themes they're dealing with that nobody else would touch. I mean, hell, you could call Deer Hunter a Grindhouse film.
Yeah.
If you took away all the names.
Yeah.
The famous names and all that. They were taken from that.
Definitely.
America wanted grime. And these people delivered grime.
Well, you
And
know,
we'll never see things like this again.
you bring that up. You know it, like Taxi Driver is like the epitome of
Absolutely.
like the I thought about talking about that, like the high end, like the classy,
Ooh.
the gentleman Grindhouse movies for sure.
Midnight Cowboy.
Oh man,
Midnight Cowboy.
I've got I got some titles that, like, yeah, speaking Taxi Driver and stuff, like that's my main genre right there when I think of Grindhouse. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about some of my.
So
Yeah, definitely.
I brought that remind like so your Gone with the Pope reminded me of would you consider The Room a Grindhouse movie? The
Oh,
the
No.
Tony Wiseau? No, I'm just curious. I don't
No.
necessarily have any like yes or no about it.
No, that's like outsider cinema is what I would almost consider that, like outsider music, like Brian Johnson or something like that, or Daniel Johnson. Sorry.
Oh, Daniel Johnson.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's its
But-
own like genre.
But so let me go farther. I believe Grindhouse movies had a message they were trying to sell. Where The Room is more of like a self-indulgent kind of, I'm going to pretend I'm a filmmaker.
Right.
Daniel Johnston had a message. He was intentional. There was a craft, there was a format, he was an artist. Wiseau, he got some money and he tried to make something. And I
Well-
don't know about the intention behind it,
But I
the
mean, like,
artistry.
but on to play devil's advocate, though, Grindhouse movies were only made to make a buck. That's why, like, the poster is 80 times better, 80% times better, or whatever.
So-
I-
Okay, if I can chime in here.
of course.
Yeah.
Because I think just like many music genres and things that we're talking about in this Grindhouse era, what you had was two sides of the spectrum. You had guys who were really just trying to make schlock that they know would sell and would get some asses in the seats and they could sell some reels to some theaters.
Yeah.
And then you had some real grimy, amazing auteurs making movies without permission and totally bankrupting their coke dealers in the process, and
Yeah.
like banking on like, no, this is my vision, this is my dream, it's gonna happen. I got $8,000, my boy's gonna give me 10. You know what I mean? We got this. We're gonna get a quick reel together. We'll shoot one reel and then we'll show it to someone and try to get another 20 grand. And they're just drumming it up, and it is as punk cinema as it could really be. Until the VHS era happened, and then there was the shot on video era,
Yeah.
which is kind of that next phase where it was people being like, nope, we can do this now. We can afford to do this. Because most of their budget was probably spent on film itself back then.
Yeah,
like the
sure.
actual price of celluloid, you know what I mean? Is like why that shit was expensive.
I wonder how many of these were made to settle coke debts. That's a very good
Right,
point.
right.
Oh,
That's what I'm
probably a
saying,
ton.
yeah. Like they're just like, come on, man, like check me out. Like he's
Yeah.
there and like, let me tell you, you know that girl Jill, she's gonna be in it.
Yeah.
Like we've got this one guy, that guy who was in that episode of Chips, he's gonna be in it.
Yeah,
Like,
right. What's your resume? I was on
We've got-
Fantasy Island, second season.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, with that
All right,
be-
if we're
yeah.
gonna power through
Yep, go for
to
it, Ben.
another, you teed me up again, Joey. So with you saying going with the Pope, I'm gonna say that and raise you Wipeout,
I
which
don't know
is a
this one.
70s Italian mafia cop, Dirty Harry
Oh
film
boy.
that is brutal.
Where's
This
my
movie is brutal. It's one of the most brutal movies for me, pound for pound, that there is. So basically, if I'm not mistaken, there is let me see if it says, because I'm not sure if the one guy's, no, I think it's just a mobster, like back and forth. Basically, these mobsters attack this other mobster by kidnapping his wife, who happens to be a nymphomaniac. And they have this, like, if that alone doesn't already like get it. So then basically he's trying to get his wife back, and it's like a mafia hit after mafia hit, really grimy, like just that way that Italian bright red blood happens.
Yes.
There's a slow motion close-up scene where he puts a gun in a dude's mouth and pulls the trigger and the back of his head explodes like a watermelon, and it's just like bright red blood everywhere. Really brutal stuff. what comes with it is that sick Italian funk, that Italo funk soundtrack.
Yeah.
That I got some other stuff that I'll talk about that more with, but like not a movie I hear about a lot. Really, really hard watch, really bleak, really, but a great watch that has that auteur style and like artistic, I don't know, like some sort of just like the Italian directors in the 70s, man. Like they really just were obsessed with the art of it. No matter how sleazy or bad it was, they wanted to make it beautiful. And this movie does it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
I
that
gotta
just
check that out.
that just blends right into the giallos, like still
Right.
like in the Grindhouse, but beautiful cinematography all around.
Yeah.
Suspiria always hits a list. I feel like we always talk about Suspiria.
I intentionally left Suspiria off this list in case we do a Giallo episode. Suspiria is one of my favorite films of all time.
Did you watch the
got
remake?
it spaced out up
Yeah,
here
it was
somewhere.
good. I mean, it's two different movies.
Yeah, I
but
mean
the remake,
there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely.
absolutely not. No, they can call it Suspiria. I'll watch it. You know, I liked it very much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, honorable mention, King of the Midnight movies. Two of his movies we'll talk about real quick. Alejandro Jodorowsky, El Topo, and Holy Mountain. Like Holy Mountain's
my first band ever was named El Topo.
Yeah.
I moved to Queens. I met these guys, and they said, we're starting the band. We're called El Topo. Love it.
Did you know what it was prior to joining the band?
No, they gave me the VHS, the first practice, and I watched it.
Changed your
I
life?
said, absolutely, I'm in this band.
Yeah.
I've got it somewhere. My stuff's out of order, but I got El Topo somewhere here.
I got an Alejandro Jodorowsky Criterion Collection box set.
Wow, really?
Yes, that thing is incredible.
So my wife and I, it's funny you bring this up. We were just talking about Holy Mountain. We haven't seen it yet, but everybody's like, you got to see Holy Mountain. You got to see Holy Mountain. I know the picture of the hat and the girls and all that, but I actually want to see the actual film.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's like Dawn of the Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Escape from New York, Holy Mountain. Yeah.
Really?
I
those four?
Well, no, not necessarily. I have a lot of movies, but yeah, like Holy Mountain
Like
is
three of those seem like they're of the same genre. That fourth one, Holy Mountain, like.
Did Jodorowsky do the one about the circus with the guy with the eagle tattoos? I love
that.
Yeah. I love that movie. I love that movie.
We could just talk about him forever. I want to talk to him. Like get Alejandro on the phone right now. He's on Ravioli for Randy. We need to talk to him.
For sure. He deserves the Criterion.
He can't still be alive, can he?
Oh, he's alive. I follow him on Facebook.
Alive.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he still does.
The Mahoning Drive-In Theater that we have by us, this amazing drive-in that just plays.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
that's by you. That's down
there.
there.
My buddy Virgil runs that place with a great squad of people. I grew up with that dude. We went to film school together. He's a great Virgil Cardamone. If you're watching, dude, love you. Yeah, that's the best. We're gonna be going there next week for opening season, opening show.
God. Right,
yeah,
we gotta make a trip, buddy.
I know.
Yeah, you do.
We talked about it.
I was looking at the Instagram.
Spend the night there.
I was going to message you. We got to go down there.
You know, so I have met me and Ben actually have met in real life at PAX. So like he's real. He's not a serial killer. So yeah. So we can meet up.
Yeah. No, yeah, Mahoning, they did an Andre Jordowski like weekend. And we went for the night that literally was El Topo and Holy Mountain.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, great time. Great movie to see on the big screen, 35 mil.
I know Uncle Lloyd has been down there himself.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like last season, towards the end, like Lloyd Kaufman was down there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's there all the time.
Yeah, Uncle Lloyd.
I've talked to him a bunch to the point where he is Uncle Lloyd.
Yeah.
Dude, you want to know what? Those dudes are so cool. I'll gush out and do like a little humble brag where we run this, my buddy's Lunch Meat, who Ted of Lunch Meat helped me create. Don't Tell Mom and Dad. He's co-creator of that game, and those are my write for Lunch Meat and stuff.
Meat VHS?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, those are my homies, tight bros. Josh is the man. He's my good buddy, an incredible guy. I help them throw a VHS fest at that theater every year. And last year they had a Trauma set up there, and they had this huge giveaway that was a stack of like every Trauma movie on VHS in a mystery box with a VCR combo, TV VCR combo that they stickered up and signed and stuff. And they were doing a raffle for it. And I was like, yo, man, like, I got to tell you, Cannibal the Musical is like maybe one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I was just like gushing about it. And like, we lost our tape, me and Stacy lost that tape a long time ago, and we were dying for it. And the dude literally reached into the box and gave to me for free the original pressing of Cannibal the Musical before it has Trey Parker's name on it. Like, they did an original release before South Park was big that was like pushing it like a horror movie. It's like this brutal horror movie release that says Cannibal the Musical. Oh, wow. And they literally were like, after that story you just told, take it. You can have it. And like, we were standing there with our mouths dropped, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm holding this in my hand right now. That's great, dude.
That's funny. I was in Hobby Lobby the other day where I got that on-air sign, and I was singing like Cannibal the Musical because I was like Wesley, like the oldest, was like asking for candy. I'm like, well, it's all he's asking for. I'm like, it's all he's asking for.
That's
all
I'm asking for.
Yeah. And then,
yeah. Tired of being poor, dude. Yeah. I can sing the whole.
And then,
we know all that whole movie by heart.
Yeah, me too. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And Spadoinkle Day, we sing that all the time.
When I was on top of you.
Yeah,
talking about a horse. That song is the best.
The Trapper song is like one of my favorites. Like,
yeah, singing in Mixolydian scales.
yeah, but like that's so funny about it though. I know you probably know this, Ben, but they're like Trey Parker, Matt Stone were like music majors in college, and like everything about the Mixolydian is like dead on right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's wild. Like, I mean, I know nothing about music, so like, they sold it to me, but yeah, like watching the commentary and stuff, they're like, musically accurate with everything they talk about. But yeah, on a nice little Cannibal the Musical tangent, but I mean, it fits. It fits. What's the Grindhouse Cinema musical? You know?
Yeah.
Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's Joey's shit.
If I want to think of a Grindhouse like musical, like you put a gun to my head, that's the movie I'd say.
Well, the main Rocky Horror Picture Show, obviously too.
Well, I mean, I remember that was on the marquee up into the 90s at a movie theater in my town, like literally on the marquee every Saturday night at midnight, and it wasn't like this wasn't like a culturally fluorescent area. This was, it's like it was next to the Caldor. They still had that going. Phantom of the Paradise, I think. Yeah, Bri, have you seen that yet?
I have not. I'm aware of it. It's got like the white mask guy, right, with the messed up teeth.
Yep.
Yeah, Brian De Palma film, man. That's all you gotta know.
I remember
De Palma,
like
early De Palma.
Hollywood Video had it. I always remember seeing it, and I never got it, never rented it. Definitely on my list. Eventually, I'll watch it someday.
I worked with a guy who worked on that film. I think I'm looking up what his credit was on that. He was. What did he do on that film? Well, anyways, is Jim Signorelli. He used to be the director. He was the director of the film unit at SNL, and I worked directly with him. And he was on that movie. He directed Easy Money and Elvira, but I never got to ask him about that because I forgot it. I discovered that film afterwards. But that's a trippy movie.
Oh, what about the Who's Tommy movie?
Would you consider that Grindhouse? I guess so.
I don't. It's trippy as hell, though.
I would, but
it's trippy as hell. That's
definitely trippy.
That's a weird movie. That is just a weird movie. That's like there's like a holy trinity there: Phantom of the Paradise, Tommy, and Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. It's like all in this snowball of course.
I've got. I was gonna say, I think I got that.
There it is.
Oh man, look at that cover too.
Oh yeah, look at that. How it's just Gene and Peter.
Yeah,
that's
but like,
funny that Peter got it on there. They didn't stick Paul on there.
I like the font on the Phantom Park.
My last runner up is Rolling Thunder.
Oh, you fucker! That's my number one.
Oh, you don't say it. You don't say
All right.
it.
So what
You
we
just-
do,
sorry.
Ben,
Yeah.
we do, Ben, we'll put a pin, as Brian says, we put a pin in it.
Put a
That
pin in
means
it.
I stop talking about it if it's higher up on the list.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I
That's
look
way
forward
high
to
on my list.
discussing that. I
Spoiled.
look forward to discussing.
I guess we should definitely
Pin it.
probably preface our guests before, because we have shtick for sure.
I like this
Okay.
guy, Brian. I like this guy, Ben, a lot.
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you. I was telling him about my like I was telling you about our RPG Avengers, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Outsider
Yeah.
Club.
Yeah.
He's.
I think we got
Definitely.
something there, man. We got to talk behind the scenes about that.
I've
Yeah.
been working on it. I've been secretly talking to both of you
Yep.
about the same thing, but you both know about it because I talk about both of you to each of you. So
So we'll put a pin in this one.
all right.
Okay.
I knew Rolling Thunder was gonna show up. That's why I didn't even. That's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the Grindhouse
Uh,
movie.
Certainly my favorite.
Any other runners up before
I
we
got-
get into the
I
middle
got-
of the donut?
I got a couple. So Blood Freak.
Oh,
Is it on your list?
yeah. Well, no, it's not on a numbered list. I didn't. This is where I got the idea where it's like honorable mentions. Like, I can't call it honorable. Blood freaks. Wait a second. Blood sucking freaks or
No.
blood freaks?
Blood Freaks. Blood
Okay.
Freak. Blood Freak. It's the one where the guy wears the chicken head.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about. I was thinking about blood sucking freaks.
Sucking freaks. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a trauma. That's a trauma release. Blood Sucking Freaks.
It's a trauma distribution.
Yeah.
So like
Release.
they
Yeah.
bought it. They didn't produce it. They
No,
picked it
no,
up
no.
after.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I meant like released it.
But it is in their library. You're right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Blood Freak. Tell me about. I don't know about Blood Freak over here.
Oh, you've never seen Blood Freak? What about you, Ben? You ever see
No.
what?
Don't know
Even
if I
there's
know
like
Blood Freak. Yeah.
there's a band named after it. Let me pull up the IMDb of it. I'm not good at like
It
synopsises.
sounds familiar. Is it 60s?
72.
Okay.
It's a
A
biker
biker
gets a job.
at a turkey farm and
Yeah.
agrees to act as a guinea pig for. I've seen this.
Yeah.
There's some chemicals that need tested, failing
Yeah.
to anticipate the murderous side effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a dim-witted biker who's transformed into a drug-addicted turkey monster. I have not seen the whole thing, but I have seen part of this. Yes. Wow,
Okay.
great cover.
Oh yeah, cover's great.
That is incredible. But once again, the pitch. All right. Yeah, I'll give you 50 grand. What's it going to be about?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like that quintessential like drugs, like
Vietnam veteran.
yeah,
That's
Vietnam
like
veteran,
part of this.
drugs, bikers, and then like yeah, but like so he only kills drug addicts because
Yes.
the blood of the drug addicts like quenches.
The real bad people of the earth, the people addicted to drugs. We need to clean the streets of these kids who are addicted with drugs.
Well,
yeah.
he gets
Death Wish 3
addicted.
shit.
He gets addicted to marijuana, right? He smokes a joint for the first time and he becomes half crazy.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I want to smoke a joint right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a good watch. It's rated X, so you know
Yeah.
that it's good.
I
Oh,
have
yeah.
seen part of this, Bri. Now that I'm remembering it.
Okay.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's a good one. There's a band named after it. They're like a grind, like Frightmare, kind of like a heavy metal
Yeah.
grind horror themed. Ghoul is like them as well.
Yeah.
Bri, behind the scenes, the other day I was driving to work listening to cattle decapitation, and later on that day, and then the Neon Lords thread, you were talking about cattle decapitation.
Yeah, like John was talking about best drummers, and it's like, well, I mean, Cattle Decap, like for sure. Death Atlas,
Oh,
though,
yeah.
that album is a ripper. Of course, you like Cattle Decapitation. Now you vegetarian.
Dirty vegetarian.
What album were you listening to? Out of curiosity.
I don't even know. It was on a mix. I just went down a hole, and I was very into it.
If you pop on Death Atlas, their latest one, front
Yeah.
beginning to end, crushing. I love
I
it.
think this was an older album.
I mean, they're still good. Like Human Jerky's
Yeah.
good. Karma, Bloody Karma. They're all good. They're all good stuff.
It fits with tonight's show.
Absolutely, absolutely. Every Cannibal Decap album could definitely be like a Grindhouse horror movie for sure. So
Oh yeah.
okay, so Blood Freak off the list. I have one more honorable mention if anybody has any more.
Yeah, I'll cut down a couple and I'll just pick one out of what I have left to move us forward.
I mean, you can just keep talking.
Last honorable mention I'll say is this Southern Comfort. Has anyone ever seen this movie?
What's the tagline? Is the Bayou?
The Bayou has its own law, and they just broke it. So this is a Hicksploitation movie that takes place in the Bayou. It's like a swamp deliverance.
Yeah, I was
and
about
it's
to
about
say Deliverance.
yeah. Have you guys seen this one? It's got
No, I
Powers
haven't.
Booth, a young, very sexy Powers Booth, and one of the Carradines. Which Carradine? Keith Carradine, Fred Ward, Peter Coyote. A lot of bangers in this.
Wow.
Real good character actors. This movie is not talked about enough, in my opinion. It's about a group of Army reserves, right? So these guys are in the Army, but they're in the reserves and they're in their hometown in Louisiana. And once a month, they get together to run essentially like, different tactical maneuvers and like gun plays and stuff. And they basically get a mission that they're like, all right, everyone gear up. You have to go from one side of the swamp to the other. And they come across some swamp hick gator hunters who they start shit with the gator hunter guys. And their guns are all filled with blanks because they're running a mission. So they have all blank ammunition. And to scare off these hicks, they fire their blank ammunition at them. And then from out of nowhere, with no one to be sight, one single shot blows the head off of their commander. And now these dudes are stuck in the bayou and their commander's head just exploded like a cantaloupe in front of them. And they don't know which way it came from. And they're trying to finish the mission while these dudes, you know who else it's got in it? Do you know who that is? That's Brian James. He plays the Scottish Brit in Tango and Cash. He's in Dead Man Walking. He's in like a million things. He plays a one-armed like bayou swamp hick in this who's terrifying.
Wow.
Very, very good movie. No one talks about it enough. Total Hicksploitation, like a Deliverance. Total Grindhouse. Didn't really hit main theaters, but it had, lots of that stuff. Tons of character actors, no A actors, lots of really good B actors. Really scary environment, really anti-military, grimy, hick, get down in it. People are getting eaten by gators. They're caught in traps. They're getting fucking shot, but from the middle of nowhere, they're drowning. It's a really good one. Really tense,
Nice.
terrifying action movie.
Speaking of gators, I watched Eaten Alive today for the first time.
That's a hard watch for me.
It's hard. I didn't finish it. I turned it off.
Right? You didn't finish it, right? You turned it off.
I didn't finish it. I started it.
Yeah.
I probably got about 20 minutes in. The only thing that I say I liked about it was the colors. Like once again, that's just flooded with certain like red. There's like at a red spotlight on the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like it reminds me of Dog Soldiers, like the werewolf movie.
Yeah.
Same concept. Just
couldn't get through that one though, man. I took a lot for the team this week that didn't even make the list. Like, oh man, wow, it's just in my head. Pieces.
Oh, you didn't like Pieces?
I loved it. No.
Right.
I went through that one.
Okay.
I got through that. That was good. Pieces was good, but then there was the one I watched right after Pieces was absolutely horrible, and it has to do. I forget. I don't want to hold this up. I got to go back. I had a double feature where I'm like, all right, this one I like. Didn't make the list 100%. The ending was one of the greatest endings of all the movies I've watched over the past 2 weeks. Pieces. Didn't make any sense. That it was,
right.
But that was a great. I'll come up with the other one that I watched right after that. I bring it up because it has something to do with like pieces of something. I'll look it up.
The Pieces DVD. I think it's the Pieces. Oh, it might be. I think I have my DVDs Pieces and Motel Hell, like double feature.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Actually, now that I think about it, it might not be. But anyway. So my last honorable mention is Switchblade Sisters.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah,
Nice
like
one.
like really great production on it. Honestly, like you don't expect it to be like that good. It's essentially like the Warriors, like 10 years
Yes.
earlier.
I was just gonna say that. Absolutely, Bry.
Yeah, with all female gangers, and one of the greatest makeshift tanks in the history of like urban warfare.
Yeah.
Like
That's a cool movie.
Yep,
Yeah, that could have ended up on my actual list. It didn't, but it was in the running. That's a really good movie.
Help me out here. The beginning of I'm trying to think of this movie and I can't remember. The beginning of the movie, the kid puts a sign on the father's gun cabinet that says, "Happy birthday, I cleaned these are clean." And as he's cleaning the gun, he shoots his mother through the back. And then they fast forward like 20 years later, and the kid's in college, and they go to a beach house, and his dad kills all of his friends.
Jesus Christ, I don't know this. Do not know this movie.
Like I bet you it probably has like a holiday name, like
like Christmas,
like Father's Day.
Oh, I gotta remember. It was terrible. I didn't finish it. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry to.
No, it's okay.
That one was not a good one.
Oh, here we go. We are into the top 6s. Honorable mentions done. It's a wrap, Joey. We made it. So Ben, start us out with your number 6.
All right, these are all going to be very hard to rank for me, but they're all really, you know, when you love movies so much, it's hard to rank. But at the bottom of the list, maybe because it at this point is become a very popular movie. But years ago, no one I knew could talk about it with me. Assault on Precinct 13.
Oh,
a gem. Yeah, the John Carpenter Grindhouse film, as far as I'm concerned. It deals with everything that Joey said. Really grim, sadness, nihilistic, dark. Has an exploitative factor like no others with that ice cream scene. He was not a name yet. You know, John Carpenter was not a household name yet. Halloween had not slapped. Escape from New York was not there. He was just a dude making a movie with a little budget of an art school liberal. Back when these types of movies were made with a liberal edge before they became 80s, like right-wing fascistic, you know what I mean? Something that really sets this movie apart is the personality within what's happening. Which would then get twisted and turned with your death wishes and stuff to make it just like really weird fascistic cinema, which is really fun to watch, but it's almost like staring into a terrarium. This movie shows an unbridled talent of someone who had something to come. And if the movie itself didn't do it for you, the soundtrack will destroy your brain. It's one of the best soundtracks in cinema history to me.
It's him, right? It's Carpenter doing it,
right? Oh, yeah. Carpenter, one of his best pieces he's ever done, wipes the floor with the Halloween theme to me. I'm a personal obsessor of Escape from New York, so I'll put that slightly above it. But that being said, one of the funkiest, synthiest, heavy, grimiest, goth soundtracks ever. The use of silencers in this movie, where the bad guys have silencers and you don't hear the bullets. It's like a real thing that they lean into. That was obviously like one of the first times that was getting played in movies because it was such a wow, like really fun. No stars in it. Again, like stuck with B-movie actors, really some of them doing a lot better of a job than others. But yeah, this is a Grindhouse flick through and through to me.
Carpenter,
Precinct 13.
Carpenter needs a national monument. That guy, he'll never get enough praise.
Speaking of Carpenter, are you aware of what just happened in the John Carpenter world?
No.
So John Carpenter's like VHS library just went up for sale.
Yes.
Right? So
his personal library?
Yes, it was 10 tapes for $80 and they sent you 10 random John Carpenter owned tapes.
I know. If I was there for that, I would have so bad.
It was online. You could do it on his website, but it was sold out instantly. Like
wow.
Yeah, people got some real bangers. Like in Video Vagrants on Facebook, they've been posting their polls, and there's some interesting stuff.
Is there some good stuff there? I
Oh,
saw a couple that were like real poppy, like just like owning a movie on VHS, like a Jerry Maguire or something like.
yeah,
Beethoven.
so like it goes, and then like
like a Beethoven, where I was like, oh shit, John Carpenter owned that movie.
yeah, there is like some weird like super like mainstream movies, but then somebody posted they got Bio Zombie off of John Carpenter, like this obscure Japanese like Dawn of the Dead that I talked about on the zombie movie episode.
Super cool.
Yeah, so really good stuff. I mean, who cares? I would pay to own the Beethoven that John Carpenter didn't rewind for sure.
You want that dust? You want that Carpenter dust from
Exactly.
the rec room?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, and it came with an autographed 8x10, so like you're already getting your money's worth.
Sure.
But
what's yours, Bri?
So I got 2 number 6s because I break all the rules. So basket case, of course. Like
think about that.
Well,
Absolutely.
I mean, and it's a slice in time too, because you're on. It's like the Grindhouse, like New York streets, right there with the brother in the basket in a seedy hotel room.
New York sleaze.
Yeah.
New York sleaze movies are absolutely Grindhouse. I have a couple.
I got goosebumps. No joke. I got goosebumps thinking about that, Bri. Like you just nailed it with basket case. It didn't even come to my head, but that's Grindhouse within Grindhouse. Like right, like the hotel he's staying at, probably like right in Times Square. Like
it is. Square. Yeah. So like when I thought about like what Grindhouse means to me, like number 1, like is the obviously like the biggest, obviously, and then basket case was like rounded it out for me. Like it was the encapsulated the era and the feel of the genre in a movie. And then I think it's the same guy that did Frankenhooker, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Frank Henenlotter or something like that.
Yeah. Henenlotter.
Yeah. I mean, Frankenhooker is a superior movie. Let's be honest. I'm a huge Frankenhooker fan. So,
yeah, to me it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a phenomenal movie. But I don't necessarily know if I consider it Grindhouse though.
It's New York sleaze, that's for sure, but we're hitting the later eras of the 80s.
Yeah.
So I think it's still Grindhouse, but I don't have anything that late on my list.
Yeah.
I made that cutoff at like 82, like I said, where I feel like cinema really took to home video a lot more and things kind of shifted a little. So
yeah, but I mean,
a lot of my stuff is like 70 to 82.
Yeah, but like that Grindhouse sensibility really goes over into
absolutely.
Because
I know I'm in Brian's head right now. I know exactly what he's thinking.
You guys got these like tour de force movies, and I got like trash compared on my list.
That's okay. We got different stuff.
All right, yeah, no, that's exactly like the best part. That's why we don't talk about it, to see like what mixes and like what the other one doesn't think about. Because like if we talked prior and I was like, oh, basket case, then like he'd have basket case on the brain, and it would.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Like there's like how many movies can a person watch in a lifetime? You know, you can't reference every movie, so it's good. It's like a potluck here. You know,
exactly.
We don't talk about it, so you just bring up and you have a taste of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, great one, Bri. Great one.
And then I got enough. I got 2 number 6s.
Yeah. So, sorry.
That's all right. So like it would be a good double feature maybe, but like it definitely is like the start of it for me. Peter Jackson in his early days, Bad Taste.
Yeah.
Like what a great movie. Like unbelievable.
One of the most inspirational movies in my life, honestly. Bad Taste is I never really considered that a Grindhouse movie.
You're gonna say that a lot for my list,
like
for sure.
A kind of like home video made, like it's a very VHS era movie to me. But it's one of the first weird low budget movies I ever saw, and was one of the first movies that really made me feel like I could pick up a camera and make a movie. And was like, you know what? You're being a bitch. Go make a movie. Like, go do it. Like, look what these dudes did. Love that movie. Can't watch it ever in the house with my girl. Stacy will not watch that movie. That bowl of vomit scene is enough for her to be like, don't put that on. I love it though. That movie, you want to talk about expanded universes? God, I wish that there was a million Bad Taste movies about a crew of weird New Zealander Ghostbusters with sawed-off shotguns who were fighting aliens in like the outback in a little AMC Gremlin with their weird little headsets and their like ham radios and like weird makeshift weapons. That's like Phantasm, stuff like that realm. Like I want a million movies like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the dude's brains are always falling out of the back of his head.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Like
Yeah,
one of the
it's
best gags. I saw that when I was a teenager. I was like, this is so good. Why doesn't every movie have a guy whose brains fall out that they have to put back in and then he can talk again?
Iconic VHS
Love it.
cover. Iconic VHS cover of that.
Yep. I unfortunately
Yep.
don't have a copy. So Ben, if you got one, hook a brother up.
Tim DeShane, Magic Mike, and it just figured out the name of the movie I was talking about, The Mutilator.
Mutilator.
Oh yeah, with William Devane.
I don't.
Is it William of Rolling Thunder?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think he's in it. That would
maybe
be
I'm thinking of a
something.
different movie then. I may be
That
thinking
would
of a
be
different
something.
movie then. Yeah.
That's probably.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't know
that's got
that
a.
one.
That's probably got like an awesome cover too.
That's what Tim was saying. He always wanted to get the video as a kid because of the cover. But woo, I couldn't get through that one, man.
Let me look at the cover. I'm sure the cover has come across. It's like. Oh yeah. It's like got the meat hook and the people
Yeah.
on. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like a big VH, like a Grail tape for a lot of people because of the
Yeah,
cover.
I bet.
It's like
I bet.
Nalgun Massacre, Microwave Massacre. Like people go crazy for those movies, but
Microwave Massacre. Holy cow, that was.
Oh yeah. I know. I got lots of friends who love those movies and want to have them, and I work a lot of VHS events where everyone's asking for those. Do you have Radioactive Reporter? Do you have Microwave Massacre?
yeah.
Oh, do I have one of the rarest VHS tapes that sells for hundreds of dollars? Like, no, I don't have that here for sale for you.
Even if he
Yeah,
did,
they're-
he wouldn't even. He would sell it to you. He would sell it to you if
Yeah.
he had it. Trust me.
right. Yeah, I would. I do. I have no love for like. There's really about like 80 tapes I won't part with. The rest I would end up with a deal.
Well, that's the
talking
thing.
about.
Like we always talk about like when I like because Ben is one of my suppliers like out there when it comes to
Tape
to-
supplier. I
yeah.
supply tapes.
tape suppliers. So like, yeah, there's some expensive tapes that like not only I have, but like it's because I want them. It's not because they're expensive. People collect
sure.
tape. There's all these collectors out there that collect these tapes just because they're rare. Like, I mean, Chopping Mall is expensive because everybody wants it because of the cover. But like, I love Chopping Mall. Like, I mean,
I'm gonna watch that again soon. I think.
I sold that at the last VHS fest. We aired Shopping Mall at that fest, and I sold my copy because honestly, I don't love it. Sorry, hot take.
that's all right.
It's a
What
fun
what
watch, but like not really worth it to me.
ballpark?
For what it's worth, that movie's not worth that to me. And
Right.
then when it hits that point, I go like, nah, someone else will enjoy it more.
So how much is it worth?
It's like $100. I think I sold it for $100.
Yeah,
Really?
it's $100 tape.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben.
Yeah,
here's
like I think I sold it a couple years ago for that. at
Here's
the
a
fest.
here's a VHS. Apropos out of nothing, I really do need some advice right now. VHS tape wise, I love Meet the Feebles. Like it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like
Yeah.
so like that's a whole nother story. But Lightning.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lightning Video, right? Like the release. So I have a Toxic Avenger Lightning Video, and I have the Chopping Mall Lightning Video, and the labels on both of them like come completely off. I think I talked
Yeah,
about.
Lightning's. Yeah, it's a thing with Vestron and Lightning. Those something about the glue that they used. I think I have my. I wonder if my Mad Max that I have here that I showed. I think I must have glued this back on. Oh, look.
Oh,
Yeah. Look at that.
See?
That's how they look.
Like I've had to hand glue these. All I did was go like that, and it came right off. A
Yeah.
lot of those tapes, like something about that glue, it doesn't hold up.
So what? How'd you reglue it? Just like a glue gun or like a glue stick?
Yeah, I just use a glue stick. It's really non-harming. It doesn't show through. It's a nice stick. It dries good. Like whenever I'm repairing the labels on a tape, I don't like to go harsher than that.
Okay,
You
that's
know
what
what
I
I mean?
thought.
I don't
yeah.
use like a super glue, just like a regular old glue stick. You throw a little bit on the back of the card is what I do. So you put it
Okay.
on the card and then you stick the card onto the tape and like make sure you place it, leave it go, and then they usually stick.
Perfect. As like, yeah, to bring it up on air, but yeah, like, because my chopping mall definitely. I mean, the Toxic Avenger, of course, came off too, but that's like quasi still in the wrapping or like the original wrap too.
Yeah.
But anyway, but that's irrelevant. Story for another time. But yeah, Lightning Video I've noticed, and they like have that weird gray brownish color to them. The
Yeah.
labels. Yeah. So, all right, Joey, you're number
Well,
6.
I wonder if I'll get pinned on this one.
You might
But Cannibal Holocaust.
put a pin in it.
I thought so.
Of course,
Put
it's
a
like
pin in it. I like that. I
it's
like
one.
that.
It's
Okay.
one of my favorite movies of all time.
That's good. Okay. Sweet.
On to number 5 then. On to number 5.
On to number 5. I think I'm going to pull another one that you guys probably isn't on anyone's list. This movie is another very important movie to me. I love this movie so much. Class of 1984.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we not 84 one, right?
Have you talked about this one before on the podcast? Because we
Not
can
in
keep
depth.
it short.
Not in
No,
depth.
not-
No, you're good. Plus, like I want your take on it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that like has the Grindhouse hype to this. That's like it was banned in multiple countries. Alice Cooper did the soundtrack. Lots of fun stuff like that. The thing that I like about this and why I felt like, first of all, it falls in that era where I think it's 82, but it feels like it was made in 76. It doesn't feel like it was made in 84 when it says it's taking place. It has a real sleazy, grimy feeling while also constantly pulling the rug out from under you is what I feel like. It does a really good job at kind of seesawing you from caring about these kids to hating them. Till the end when it's just like all bets are off, in my opinion, you get to see some good old-fashioned grimy revenge.
Yep.
It has a revenge third act of the teacher. I love the characters. I love the way it's shot. It's part of that. I know you're saying that you're pulling schlock, Brian, and we're pulling auteur stuff, but like this is another one that stands out to me. This guy's 2 movies, Mark Lester, he made in 1981 or 82, he made Class of 1984. And then in 1990, he made Class of 1999, which is one of my holy grail movies. That's a non-Grindhouse, just hands down.
Yeah,
I'll get buried with my Class of 1999. That'll go in there with a couple other tapes that I have here. I will request to be buried with them or burnt with them because no one else deserves them as much as me.
99 is the Pam Grier robot teacher.
Yeah, it's Terminator meets Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, I actually have a I have a VHS of it. I'm happy to say.
Yeah, that's a grail. That's a tape that I've had for a very long time. Again, like since I was probably 19 or 20, and it never leaves my thing. I'll never put it on the table to sell. I watch it every year. I was in a psychedelic punk band for a while called Cave Women, and we did a show at this sick venue in Philly called Philomoka. That was we were helping promote an indie filmmaker. He was made a film and we were raising money for it, and we put on a show there, and then we played, and instead of having another band played, we did a Mystery Science Theater like riff track while watching Class of 99. Which they asked me to pick the movie, and that's the movie I picked because I could riff on that movie forever. One of my favorites. This is a higher tier of cinema in my opinion, but Class of 1984 is another one that I don't feel like it's talked about enough. Like these are kind of the ones that I picked, and it's just awesome, wild teen angst cinema that really scares you at times and doesn't pull the punch, you know?
Starring
which is
a young
another
Michael J.
feature. Yeah.
Yeah,
right. As he's the kid who gets bullied, right?
Yep.
He's the kid who's getting bullied in that. Yeah. Young Michael J. Fox, yes.
Yeah,
and just some like brutal stuff. It doesn't pull punches, which is like a theme of these movies.
You guys pick Class of 84 and I pick Class of Newcomb High. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. I'm a schlock rocker when it comes to like movies.
I get schlocky. I'm getting schlocky as we get deeper into this, Bri.
Yeah, I don't ever stray from the schlock for sure.
I went highbrow. I'm an asshole.
No, it ain't nothing.
I went highbrow on my list. I'll defend every movie on my list to the end.
Says the man who won't sell me a VHS TC2000.
No,
Talk
you
about
gotta find
highbrow.
it on your own.
I got it on Blu-ray.
If I ever find another one, you know you're getting it.
Okay,
But
I
I only
appreciate
have
that.
one, and like those are that's my genre.
It's
man.
hard to find. It's really hard to find, especially like even on eBay. Even like I would pay eBay prices for it. It's one of those tapes that's
What is it?
TC2000. It's that Billy Blanks post-apocalyptic-ish, RoboCop-ish.
Ooh, the Tai Bo guy?
Yes.
It's a
Oh,
cyborg
nice.
kick fight. Like that's a genre. Cyborg kickboxing
Yeah.
is like its own genre that like popped up in the 80s and ran through the 90s.
Yep.
Really fun. Yeah,
Fantastic.
Billy Blanks, Tybo.
And
The guy is like
it's
the
got
most
Bolo.
wooden actor in history.
It's got Bolo Young as an actual good guy in it. If you're in the Bolo.
Yeah.
So like, if that means anything to you, Joey, probably.
I'm gonna
not.
look. No, I'm looking the guy up. I'm looking up Bolo Young right now. I'm not.
Oh, Bolo from Enter the Dragon, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Bolo,
yeah.
that's a
Yeah, he's-
Okay, so
Chinese
he's a good
Hercules,
guy.
he's a kung
Yeah,
fu
Chinese
god.
Hercules. Yeah, he's
Oh,
a good.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
he's-
Cool.
It's like
All
one of the
right.
only movies he's a good guy in.
All right, now you're making sense to me.
I mean, he's
Yeah,
he's no Michael Dudikoff, so he doesn't
No,
have that.
it's funny. When you said the name, this is the face that popped up into my head. That guy is so awesome looking.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's almost as good as Robert Zadar for sure, like in the looks
Yeah,
department.
he needs.
I
I
like-
always, as a kid, I always wanted an action figure of him.
I'm sure there is one.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in Bloodsport? Yeah, he's the bad guy in
Yes,
Bloodsport.
yes. He's also
Yeah, there
yes.
wasn't Bloodsport
He's
action
also what's his name?
I'm sure. They're
I'm
probably.
talking.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
talking
the-
like an 8-inch, like Rambo, or He-Man size guy.
Like a
That's
Miko.
what- Yeah.
A Bolo Young Migo. There you go, Joey.
Yeah,
That's
that
it.
would be that. Okay, I might have to work on that now.
I was
I'll
telling
make sure my stuff was in order.
I was telling my
The
dad
thing I
about.
like about Bolo Young, one thing I want to say is you can't tell if that dude is like 6'8" or 5'3".
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
Like he
Yeah.
literally like the way he's built, like it's like, is he teeny tiny or is he like the biggest dude on earth?
Yes.
You can't tell.
He'll
1000%.
take it either way.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What were you saying, Brian, about
I
your
was
dad?
I was telling him about your Johnny Quest Migos, and he was very interested. Even though like I totally broke his heart because like we were moving, like it was 6 trips to the new house, and like he's tired, like he definitely doesn't want to be here with all my junk. And then
Yeah.
I pull out a box that he just carried and pulled out the 12-disc Puppet Master box set. I was like, look what you brought into the house. And he's like, God
That's what
damn it.
They doing
I
moving
used
around Full Moon Entertainment stock.
Yeah, and then the
Boy,
first
that's a
thing I
good
put
guy.
on the desk was my ghoulie coming out of the toilet, and of course like
Oh, you have to.
and
You
then
have
like
to.
yeah, the kid like constantly wants to look at the ghoulie, so like every time I come up to my desk, the ghoulie's looking a different way. Like I know he's up here like playing with it.
Yeah. He's gonna get
All right,
obsessed.
no
That's how
problem.
it starts.
Yeah, he wanted to watch Ghoulies today, so I mean we watched all 4 of the trailers. Obviously, like we didn't watch
Yeah,
Ghoulies,
yeah.
but yeah.
That's great. Raising them right, man.
But they made a puppet, a cat ghoulie like latex puppet you could buy. It's like $200. It's like a life size.
I've seen it. Yep.
Yeah, I want to get it. We saw it in real life at the comic shop at Syracuse, and he was deathly afraid of it. So like $200 maybe not a good idea, but I still want it for the room. So okay, well take the pen out, Joey, because my number 5, Cannibal Holocaust.
Cannibal Holocaust. All right, so we were close there, man. That I remember the first time I saw that movie, and I thought it was real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like so. Like okay, so we're all around the same age. Ben is our younger by a couple of years, but that's okay. He was alive and well during the Blair Witch Project era of this world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
like the
7th,
resurgence.
8th grade for me.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Nah, I
I
was
think that was
11.
I'm 36.
Yeah, I'm 39, and then
Okay.
Joey 40.
42.
Yeah, 42.
Okay.
So we're close. So the mockumentary resurgence in the late 90s definitely brought Cannibal Holocaust to surface for me. Like it was like taboo. like everybody's like, oh my god, this is like the one that goes all the way. I think that might even be the tagline. Maybe
Yeah.
not for that movie. It's for a movie. But Cannibal. Oh, you got it on VHS? Hot Shot.
I don't, but I have another movie I'm looking for to show you. I sold it at VHS Fest too. I was ready to part ways with it.
With
I can't get down with animal cruelty.
yeah, see,
So like I got
That's
down
the
to
whole
a
thing
point where
about-
like I
that's ex-
shed a lot of
That's
the
the whole thing
movies that
about-
had animal cruelty. I got rid of.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I have the limited edition, only like hand numbered, like 40,000 made DVD of Cannibal Holocaust. Like,
And I'm with you, man. The animal cruelty, animal cruelty will come up once again in another.
it's
Another
What-
movie.
like
Another movie, but they're real. Hyper
Yeah.
Sigil in the chat's like, a lot of it is real. Yeah, like to say it's not real, it's like there's.
well, no, the not real is like the obviously the human killing, because like that was a big thing though. The controversy, I mean, we're all aware, like that's like the urban legend of the movie is like
Exactly.
he got
exactly.
like arrested. He thought, yeah, they thought like he murdered.
That urban legend, like that, there's a reason for that. Like when you
Right.
with the girl on the pole and some of it, like I remember just seeing pictures of this stuff of the movie, like stills from the movie before I actually saw the movie. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be another Faces of Death freak out for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
not. But like take out so like take out the animal cruelty and all that. But it's actually like a really good movie.
Yeah.
The
Like,
story
It's
is
Italian. I like Italian
Yeah.
directed movies.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
something weirdly like autistically like auteur about it. Like these guys are making shit and they're like, I'm just going to make a shit movie. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's something like about it that's just great.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's dirty. It's definitely like, and because it's like it's them like the story is the newspapers watching the film and sending like the guy
right.
to go watch or like to go find out what happened. Well, he went and found the tapes, so then they're watching the tapes.
The very
So-
Joseph Conrad style, like it's like
Yeah,
Heart of
yeah.
Darkness.
I'm pretty sure Heart of Darkness had something to do with the making of this
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, you have to. Apocalypse Now definitely did, so
Yeah.
I don't see why Cannibal Holocaust didn't, right?
Oh
Yeah.
man, I always think about the production of the film, like getting like, okay guys, we're gonna start tomorrow 8:00. Everybody show up on set. Like it must
Yeah.
have been chaos.
Well, I mean,
just
like,
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah,
Like that huge like mass of vines and trees that the natives are living in and stuff. Like I don't know, just like people put time and effort and hours and sweat and blood into these movies. Like what
Yeah.
was the catering? I always think about that. What was lunchtime? What did that look like?
well, that's like the
Well,
like when you talk about that, like the picture, the photo still of the craft like table at the Conan the Barbarian filming, where you got like
yeah.
yeah, like Arnold eating and stuff, like with Kareem Abdul,
Yeah.
or is it Kareem Abdul in it?
Yeah, is Kareem Abdul's in it?
Is he? Is it? Anyway, but yeah, like there's a bunch.
Oh,
of
it's Wilt Chamberlain.
yeah,
is
Wilt
the-
Chamberlain.
Oh,
Wilt
right.
Chamberlain, yeah.
Kareem Abdul was Bruce Lee.
Andre the
Yeah.
Giant's in it.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
got like these yeah. Anyway, but yeah, like the huge juice.
And Pat Roach.
Yeah.
Real quick, I don't want to like sideline us too much, but since you brought up shot on video and you did two eras, the eras of the 80s and 70s and 90s, this movie does not get talked about enough. It's America's Deadliest Video. It's a shot on VHS POV horror thriller starring Danny Bonaducci, in which he gets himself a video camera and he's like, babe, this is great. And then he, holding the video camera in POV, walks in on his wife cheating on him. And then he takes off with the camera to start filming himself. And then he gets abducted by a bunch of like scumbag, drug addict, like thrill kill, like liquor store robbers. And they force him to videotape as they go on a tear. And no one ever talks about this. My boy Josh from Lunch Meat put me onto this. This release is their release. They got the rights to do a re-release. And yeah, write it down if you haven't seen it. America's
Wow.
Dead Video.
The
Very-
douche, Danny Bonaducci, huh?
young Danny Bonaducci. Young Danny Bonaducci.
I mean,
If
Partridge
can-
Family was the
Yeah, this
youngest.
is just
Yeah.
post Partridge.
Post Partridge, yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. Post Partridge, like pre like real steroids and stuff.
Nice. Do you ever see the Poughkeepsie tapes?
No.
That's an interesting like found footage one
You
too.
told me about that. I haven't seen that yet.
And then August Underground is like the big famous like snuff film, fake snuff film ones to the August Underground movies, but that's
Okay.
it's for another show.
Cannibal Holocaust is a
Yep.
beauty.
Yep.
My number 5, I Drink Your Blood.
Oh, you put I Drink Your Blood in your number 5?
Yeah, do I have to pin it? No.
Not for me.
Nope. I thought
right.
I did. I talked about it. I Drink Your Blood was in honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about. I'll just say I watched it for the first time the other day. I had seen clips of it throughout my life, and I never realized that it was the kid that put the dog meat in the pies, and just oh my god.
Yeah, it gives them rabies, and then they walk around with the foam in their mouth, crazy look at their face. Best acting in all of cinema history.
And water saves the day.
Yeah.
Water is the Dracula's garlic in this movie. They went with that part about rabies, and they just ran with it. Water is the only way that they're going to save everybody. Oh my God!
You know, you could do a double feature with M. Night Shyamalan's Signs and I Drink Your Blood.
yeah. You know, in the sweat, everybody is sweating in this. There's a
Oh
couple of these
yeah.
They just sweat. They're covered in sweat the whole movie, and it's like, what were the conditions? Like, and I'll tell you the conditions. Probably, I didn't even do any research on this. They found an abandoned neighborhood, and they're like, let's shoot a movie in the abandoned neighborhood. We'll use a couple, but like the dudes, the workers in this movie have the best hair. They all have the same exact outfit. All the guys, there's some like project like the town's working on, like they're building a bridge or something, and all the worker dudes are like these Samsons with like denim shirts all open and slick back hair. And I have no idea how they get turned as well. I think they hook up with one of the girls, and as a result, they all get infected too. Or maybe I don't think they ever eat the pie, but somehow the rabies is spreading like chicken pox. And that was the bad dude in that one, the head bad guy. He was a really good bad guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I Drink Your Blood, just some great gore. There's a great part where one of the guys is climbing up in the attic, and the lead bad dude drops a noose around the guy's neck and then jumps down and hoists the guy up and hangs him. It was a great scene.
Yeah, that's like an iconic scene from it for sure. I remember I think Something Weird put it out on DVD, and I think
I Drink Your Blood. It's a great premise. You know, the bad dude.
Grindhouse.
Where's the remake of I Drink Your Blood?
You can do some cool stuff with it. I mean, all you need is an abandoned neighborhood, a dead dog, and some toothpaste to rub all over your mouth, and you can make it another
Alka-Seltzer tablets.
Yeah,
that's what Troma uses.
Yeah,
it works.
Alka-Seltzer tablets in green food coloring, like in the beginning of Class of Nukem High, when the kid in line just like randomly just starts like convulsing and foaming at the mouth. Yeah,
that's my number 5. I loved it. I thought it was a hoot.
It's a good one. I think that goes to Ben's number 5.
Is it my number 5 or number 4? I think I got on Precinct 13.
Yeah, you're right.
4.
Yeah.
Now, number 4. This is getting hard to pick which one's going to be if we're going to number them, but Master of the Flying.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna put it on my list.
A beauty.
That's your kung fu pick, Flying Guillotine.
So I skipped over one of my honorable mentions, which I'll back up with. Which is 5 Fingers.
Yeah.
Kung Fu, we could do an entire episode on, and I can talk you until you go, Ben, we need to turn the stream off now. Kung Fu has been one of the most consistent genres in my life. I've been watching it since I was a little kid. And they used to play it on WGTW 48 on Saturday mornings, Kung Fu Theater.
Yep.
Yep.
Very important to me. Shaw Brothers, Hong Kong cinema, Jimmy Wang Yu. Yeah, I love Kung Fu to death. If I had to pick just one, it would be one of these two. If I were to add a third, it would be Chinese Super Ninjas. I mean, I could talk about it forever.
I just watched that the other day.
Chinese Super Ninjas?
Chinese
Brilliant.
Super Ninjas. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I'm getting some inspo from for Miami.
Nice.
Chinese
Nice.
Super Ninjas.
Hell yeah.
So I ended up going with this one as my Kung Fu pick because it's so weird.
Yeah.
And again, like big things that I said are through lines with all my movies. The soundtrack is insane, which then ties into the fact that it also has a pre-viral, like pre-internet viral element to it, which is it stole its soundtrack. Its soundtrack was taken illegally from German krautrock bands Noi and Tangerine Dream.
Really?
Yes. Like the soundtrack from this is a kickin' weird krautrock punk synth rock soundtrack.
Tangerine Dream is awesome.
Just taking songs from Kraftwerk, Noi, and a Tangerine Dream throughout the whole movie, where you're literally like, wait a second, is that? And you're like, yeah, that's a Noi song. That's Super 16 by Noi. Incredible soundtrack. Freaky. Takes the Kung Fu world and puts it, just kicks it up to 11. It adds that fantasy element. People can walk on ceilings. Guys can extend their arms. People can take pain and blades that other people can't. It almost is like a live action anime movie. I think that you can really stem a lot of modern anime from this movie. You have characters that have fantastical backgrounds, lots of different people in different fighting styles. Incredible desert island pick for me. This was an easy one when you were like Grindhouse. I was like, that's an easy way for me to talk about Master of the Flying Guillotine. One of my favorite movies.
Plus, like one of the best, like deadliest weapons of. The Flying Guillotine is in Neon Lords. Like it's one of the fantastical weapons in the bag.
Cool.
Controversially, I would probably say that when it comes to the guillotine itself, just Flying Guillotine by the Shaw Brothers is probably my more favorite deadly flying guillotine.
Shaw Brothers like is a world of its own. You know, like that's like top tier kung fu for sure.
And I didn't put any kung fu films on my list with the hopes of an eventual kung fu episode.
Oh yeah, we'll do a kung fu episode for sure, and then Ben will come back for that one. Yeah.
Please.
I don't have a kung fu movie. I have a Chambara movie.
Ooh.
So we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll
wait.
It's down the list.
Like that on my list too. It's my number one pick, so it may be something to get pinned in, but it's definitely.
Okay, I won't talk about it. So my number 4 then is it?
Yeah. Or Joey's.
Joey, you can go.
All right. Blood Feast.
Oh,
Blood Feast.
You, no offense, Joey, you look like a dude who likes Blood Feast.
Listen, I take that as a compliment, and now I like you even more.
I meant it as a compliment.
I know. Listen, with the three guys that are going to get this stuff. Yes, Blood Feast, like movies like that made me who I am. Like I love it. That's like once again the person out in left field saying, I don't care. I'm going to make a movie about this. The caterer. I'm going to make a movie about a caterer who wants to bring back the God of the Dead via a nice dinner that I'm going to do for you. It is everything about it. Like the guy's limp, and I think he actually changes. I thought I was trying to see how long he could limp on one leg for. I think halfway through the movie he changes legs the way he's limping, and then just the creepiness of that guy. The once again sweating. Everybody's sweating through the whole damn movie, and then he's got like the makeup over the eyebrows and the spray paint in his hair, and then like at the end, all of a sudden they wanted to make like it was Breathless, or like where like the bicycle thief at the end of the movie where the guy's just running across this long like landfill scene like it's a French 60s movie. It's just nuts. There's some great kill scenes in this movie on the beach where like the back of the lady's head is coming out, and it's just they whoever was the caterer for that, like the deli down the street, whoever they bought all their organs from, those are clearly real organs.
Oh, absolutely.
But
great
I love
opening
it. I love
titles.
the sets, the color, the
Yeah,
grime of that movie.
yeah, that was like one of the first ones I thought of, like making the promo video for this episode was Blood Feast for sure.
Love it. There's like three locations. There's the guy's deli, there's like the lady's house, and then there's like that back room where the statue is. And the rest are just a couple of kill scenes that could have been anywhere. Just a lot, they did great stuff with nothing. I thought it was cool. Cool soundtrack too.
This might be a pin one. So my number 4 is a blaxploitation movie, Dolomite.
You cut out. What did you say?
Oh, Dolomite.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that's
not on my list. That's a great choice, though.
Dolomite, I don't know, like is the best when it comes. It's obviously like outside of Blackenstein and Blackula. It's like the quintessential to me. I know Coffee's a big one for people, but I like Rudy Ray Moore a lot. I think he's awesome.
Yes.
And Black, yeah, there you go. I got a DVD, so whatever.
Yeah. No, if I got him behind me, I'll pull him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. No, Coffee's my favorite blaxploitation movie, but Dolomite is. I recently just cut down. I put a lot of my blaxploitation movies up for sale in my resale pile, but like the few that I kept was Coffee, Foxy Brown, Dolomite, Superfly, and
Superfly. That's Superfly is mine. That's I early exposure to that. I remember my father had the record when I was a kid, and I played the hell out of that. Superfly is my choice.
Dolomite. He does that like that 70s like rap poetry when he talks, so he's always rhyming, and then like pretty much like what's up? You cut out, Ben.
He took that from Gil Scott Heron.
Yeah. The revolution will not be televised.
Right. Yeah, Whitey on the Moon, one of the best poets ever.
And then essentially Black Dynamite stole like the Rudy Ray Moore shtick when they did. I mean, but like Black Dynamite's phenomenal as it is, but like a rival like his like what's that? Oh, Black Dynamite.
They all right there.
They actually put it on VHS, or is that just like a boot?
Well, no, yeah, it's a boot done by Retro Release. What is it? Retro Release Video. They dropped a couple back in the day in their early days at VHS Fest. I don't know if this was an exclusive to VHS Fest or if you could buy this online. But yeah, at that VHS Fest, I grabbed this and Cabin in the Woods on VHS.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. I mean, like
but it's those movies that I was like, oh, I gotta have this on with my collection.
Yeah. I mean, like Black Dynamite ends with like a nunchuck fight with Black Dynamite and Richard Nixon. Like, what else do you need in like a movie?
Did you know that they filmed that movie was filmed in Meta? Like it was Meta filmed. So who's that actor's name who plays Black Dynamite?
It's
blanking on
Michael Jai White.
Michael Jai White and the director of Black Dynamite were not only the characters, but when the movie was not being filmed, Michael Jai White was acting as an actor who was a football player turned martial artist turned actor.
Wow.
And the director was acting like a director / producer that was like, I believe he was like playing like an old Jewish, like when they were like on set, they were acting as people acting for most of the movie is the lore heard about this film.
It's got the hobo with a shotgun treatment. It was a trailer before a movie. Like it was, yeah. So like hobo with a shotgun, like do you know that was a trailer before a movie too?
Yeah.
For the Grindhouse, it was the one that won the contest. Yeah, but Black Dynamite was the same thing. Like Michael Jai White, or no, maybe it was a promotional still something. It was something like that. It was a concept that they came up with, and then they came out with the movie.
Well, I read something that said it was called Superbad before it was called Black Dynamite, and then Superbad came out, and
Yeah,
they
but,
were like, "Well, okay, I guess that can be called Superbad, but
yeah, but
our
Black.
movie could be called Superbad a little bit more than that." But then they changed it to Black Dynamite.
Better name, better character name too.
Yeah.
Definitely. But then, like, did you see the Eddie Murphy, Rudy Ray Moore movie?
Loved it.
It's good. I never
No,
saw it.
Yeah, I loved it. Wesley Snipes gives like a career high performance in that movie.
Do you like Human Tornado more than Dolomite? Would you say, Ben?
I don't know. No, I don't know if I've seen Human Tornado, honestly.
That's the other big Rudy Ray.
Rudy Ray Moore movie? No. I
Yeah,
only know Dole.
Dolomite's good. I mean, he's got the Tommy gun and he shoots the guy's feet right when he gets out of prison. He's got the army of kung fu chicks, and then like when he fights at the end, there's a great body ripping scene. It's like the quintessential like Grindhouse movie to me. Well, almost quintessential, but pretty close.
I waited on Shaft once at an Italian restaurant in town.
What do you order?
He got a steak. He got a steak, and I'll tell you, he's like, "Hey man, how about that girl over there?" He was asking about a waitress I was working with that I was talking to. He's like, "Who's that fine looking waitress over there? Can you think you can give me your name?" I said, "You mean my sister?" It was my sister. He was trying to hit on my sister. He didn't get her name.
Of course.
Isaac Hayes himself was there.
Oh no, just Shaft. Richard. Richard.
Who's Isaac Hayes play? Oh, he does the song, right?
He does the music.
Yeah. I'm very confused. I got you. I know what you're saying.
That's a good pick, man. Dolomite's a good one.
Dolomite's one of my all-time favorites for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of great films in that genre.
Number 3.
Oh boy.
All right. Number 3, I'm actually pulling something that was going to be an honorable mention because as I'm looking, like I said, these are all really hard for me. I'm like, nah, this is going from number 3. The Exterminator.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing remotely like this in the movie.
No,
there's
in
this outfit. Like that's definitely a Grindhouse movie that was repackaged for video. I got this really sweet little gatefold copy of this VHS of the director's cut.
That's cool.
This, in a lot of ways, is the quintessential Grindhouse film to me. It has it all. It's a New York sleazy-tastic film that has everything from chicken house, prostitution, to drug, meth, and coke dealing, doing. People get thrown in meat grinders. Dudes get their heads exploded.
Wow.
When he shoots someone with a 44 Magnum, they fly over a car. Really, again, really hard to watch, but in a really good way. It is one of the top revenge films ever made, only to be topped, in my opinion, by a movie that we put a pin in. That we will talk about later. Love this movie. This is the type of movie I like to watch. Now we're starting to shy away, though. So Assault on Precinct 13 is what, 75, 76? 76. Now we're hitting 80, and we're starting to hit fascist cinema, as far as I'm concerned.
The Bronsonian age.
Yeah, like we have they're a little harder on the street toughs in this movie.
Yeah.
They're a little less sympathetic. They're just real scum.
Yeah.
And
the Judge Dredd.
Obviously mainly, of minority, you know what I mean? Which is not a great, a lot of the bad guys are minorities. A lot of the good guy is a white guy. So that stuff is doesn't hold up as much, but, really fun watch. The only real shame of this movie is that it has Steve James in it, who, if you know Steve James, he's one of my personal favorite B-movie actors who never got his due. He's always played second fiddle to other people, and he's one of the best stuntmen and action martial artist actors ever to grace.
Oh
the
yeah, Steve James is. I know absolutely.
right. Steve
From
James,
American Ninja.
Everyone should know his name. He's
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, if you're
He's in, you added, and like I would have really loved. I mean, they lean on that. Like they make him a very virtuous, big, strong character in this, who then gets paralyzed from the neck down when he's beaten by street toughs, and the white guy who's kind of was a bitch in Vietnam and stuff like that has to step up and be a tough guy in this.
Yeah.
But still kind of would have rathered, I think, Steve James have been the Exterminator. Because I just don't think the guy got his due. He's such a good actor.
Absolutely, man. Not respected enough. He died. I just read. I could have
lost
died when he was 41. Cancer. 41.
Right. Really sad. I have an issue of Psychotronic that has an interview.
Great magazine.
Has a Steve James issue where they knew, Psychotronic knew back in the day that he was good, and they caught him before he died, and they have a killer interview in there. And I'm a big fan of Steve James, and in terms of Grindhouse movies, this is a Mount Rushmore to me.
Well done. And I think you brought up an important point. Psychotronic needs respect. That magazine, that hit me when I needed it. I probably picked up my first issue 96, 97. And I'm like, my comic book store had it. And after that, it was like, pre-internet. I'm trying to see when it first came out, but like, that was it, man. That's where a kid could find out about this stuff back then. That magazine was awesome. Very, very part of who I became.
Yeah. That's super cool. That makes me, I wish that I had it that way. Like I stumbled upon one issue at a flea market, probably maybe 10 years ago, somewhere around there, and was like, wait, what is this? What am I looking at here? Like, I've never heard of this. I don't know this. For fans of Psychotronic, I have to now pivot and go to Lunch Meat. And I have to say that if you like Psychotronic, Lunch Meat is the reincarnation of that, just funneled through the VHS eyes. But in a lot of ways, it's doing a lot of the same stuff.
The depth, the history. They really looked at it for what it was, and not like tongue in cheek. It's like, no, we're going to give these actors and the time, and the producers, the distribution. You found out about how all that stuff worked, and that those are up there with my weekly world news, like media that no longer exists. That is
weekly world
Lunch
news
Meat is a
Have
good.
They put that in a book yet? I want to get a collected weekly world news.
They're going. Brian and I were talking about this. They're very well. I mean, everything's expensive on eBay, but they're ridiculous on eBay right now.
Yeah. Take like a collected works, like in a book.
Yeah. They had a couple of like best ups, but they didn't get back to the old ones. It mostly focuses on Bat Boy. That they really went nuts with that stuff.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, fortunately, out of like the few movie posters I have so far for the quasi VHS store, I have Exterminator 2 movie poster to be hung up in there.
Nice. Argue the better movie poster, not the better movie. I was just arguing this with someone at the punk rock flea market today when they were like, Exterminator 2 so good, and I was like, nah, bro, fuck away from my table. It's a good movie, but it doesn't hold up to the first one.
No, and that poster is iconic, and that's like the quintessential Grindhouse, like where the poster is way better than the movie for sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, Joey, what is your number 3?
All right, I think this is gonna go back what Ben said. I'm just the kind of guy that would like this movie. Another sweaty, yellow, red, New York disgust Maniac.
Yeah.
I love Maniac. It's gross. I remember it just happened to be that this was around when I saw it. It was around the time I was reading a lot about Son of Sam and watching about Son of Sam, and that Venn diagram is very similar.
Circle.
Yeah, really. The actor.
Yeah, I was about to say the actor in that is what makes that movie like phenomenal.
Exactly. That's he himself and I'm gonna look up his name. He
Oh my. Oh, yeah.
himself. That's what it makes the movie. It's a character study, really. You know, you could have put another actor in that, and it would have just been another dime a dozen, slasher. But like, let's see,
There
Maniac.
you go. And it's a great cover. Talk about VHS.
Joe Spinell.
Ghost Spinell. It's a William Lustig movie.
Yeah, awesome cover.
Iconic, super iconic.
Iconic. Once again, it's that beautiful slice in New York in a time that will never be. Just no rules. Just the psychological aspect of it. Like, imagine the set, the stinking depression on that set. Oh, look at that fold out. That's nice.
Yeah, another bifold tape that I scored.
That's a great scene in the car. That's
another hard watch, like, but in like real rough. Yeah.
So that's mine. That's my number 3. That was almost a number 2, but Maniac to me, Grindhouse. Kind of like Brian's point about Basket Case, like what you said about the meta. That's like Grindhouse within Grindhouse, man.
I think that's Maniac is the first movie that Tom Savini ever filmed a head exploding.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. It's in his book.
Sure, they like plastered the head and filled it with like apple cores and like fucking like cow guts, and they just literally blasted it with a double barrel. Like it wasn't even really an effect much as like when that head explodes, like that's an actual like double up buckshot round right through a fake head that they just filled with gunk.
Perfect.
But isn't that Tom's head? Like, isn't Tom the one that gets the head? Yeah. Speak about that. Yeah. He's killing himself.
Yes.
There's a good video of him. There's a good video of him going through his house, and like he's got a bunch of the practical effects still and everything. It's very interesting watch. Tom Savini's like one of my favorite people of all time. So like,
seems like a really nice guy.
Here's another don't tell mom. Not the game, but literally don't tell my mom about this episode because of the illegalness that I've done in the past. Like I tell her not to watch these episodes because about stealing VHS tapes and stuff. But I got the Tom Savini book out of the library. Do you remember that book? Like in the middle was about maybe 15 pages like of like glossy color of all the pictures of all his practical effects from Friday the 13th, Maniac, Dawn of the Dead, and everything. I got the book out of the library. I ripped out all the middle pictures and plastered them on my wall.
That's great. Yeah, I wanted to go to there was a time where I'm like, this was like my first career. I'm like, I just want to quit all this and move to New Jersey and go to special effects school with it, and get a master class.
You could do a tour of the school too. It's interesting.
I'm pretty sure my brother-in-law went to the Tom Savini. He definitely took. It was like the Tom Savini effects.
Yeah.
Like School of Art. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my brother-in-law went to that and did that. He does that stuff. I mean, he's a jack of all trades. He's an amazing dude. But yeah, he can do those special effects. I'm pretty sure that's where he went.
Yeah, I got on like a practical effects, like obviously Guar fan. Watching like the video of like the slave pit where they make all the suits and everything, and then I got on like foam latex, and then it got to like Tom Savini and like his school, and then going to his house looking at stuff like the YouTube rabbit hole that is like that exists. You just keep watching different videos. YouTube existentialism, or not existentialism, but YouTube stream of consciousness.
Yeah. Yep. The connecting the dots. I've learned a lot of things about the world doing that. So Maniac, that's a special one for me, man. The sweatier the better.
You really can't beat the slice. I know someone called me a monster. Roman one day. I know I defaced it. So okay, so I'm gonna go full circle. So I am donating one of the Neon Lords books to the local library here. So I'm already doing that. But
that's
yeah,
your penance.
Yeah, that's...
two Hail Marys to drop up a talk of Neon Lords.
Yeah,
good boy.
So yeah, because the Watertown library has a D&D section, so I was like, I might as well
lucky dog. That's
might as well slime it up with a real good RPG book.
There you go.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
What's your 3?
So let's talk about the ultimate movie, right? So,
What is it?
The
well,
Santa Claus.
I'm gonna. I wish that is. If you're gonna talk that, we're gonna talk about Jingle All the Way, the greatest Christmas movie ever. But anyway, so 90 minutes, right? So like, not only is it 90 minutes, it's two Japanese movies that they edited together into 90 minutes of nonstop samurai sword action of the best revenge movie of all time. Do I need to put a pin in it?
So right. So if this is higher on a list for me, like if this was a higher thing, do we put a pin in that then?
Yeah, we'll put a pin in it.
'Cause I have a feeling I know what you're about to say, and it's my number one pick. It's maybe my favorite movie
Of all
Oh,
time.
boy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely a desert island
Yeah.
spanning all genres. I've watched it forever. I have the T-shirts. I have the poster on my wall.
Yeah,
I
we'll
have the record, the vinyl. Like
we'll
it's. I could talk about it for an entire episode.
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in length
Okay.
because it's an amazing story on how it was made. It's an amazing like movie as it is. All the other ones are good too, like on their own merit, but taking the best of the first, well, it's like 12 minutes of the first movie and then the second movie.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Why don't we just talk about it? It's
All
fine.
right.
We're talking about it
Yeah,
now.
Shogun Assassin. Yep.
Shogun Assassin. If my house was on fire, I would grab this movie before I ran out. I will never be apart from this movie. It's often found in my backpack. And you're like, what do you mean? Brian will tell you, like, I just roll around with VHS tapes in my backpack.
Yep.
In case I happen to be in a situation where someone wants to watch them. And I'll vibe on a flick and put it in. This is there all the time. I can't tell you how many Sunday mornings and Saturday nights I've watched this.
It's insane. And then like the added 80s synth voiceover of the little kid telling the story of his dad who the Shogun the Shogun goes mad, like the mad Shogun goes after him like he's the Shogun's killer. You know about this movie, Joey?
Listen, brother. You're talking to the Jizz's number one
Okay,
fan.
Liquid Swords of Death right there. That's what I'm talking about.
The fourth chamber.
Yeah.
When I was little.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Man.
All right. I just double checking. Yeah. So Liquid Swords. Yeah.
On the album is my track.
Which one?
I think it's called the Seventh Chamber. It's the one where it starts with you have to choose the ball or choose the sword.
Oh, choose the death. Yeah.
That's my
join your mother in death.
And then Ghostface just comes in super hard with that first verse. Oh.
Yeah. The only thing I'm going to wait for is the Sky Blue Valley Kid. Yep. Rockin' Taylors, my memory tape decks. Yep.
Melt your tape decks. Fuck with women because they throw hex. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So for the uninitiated, yeah.
So a couple things that are important about this movie to mention again that adds to the mystique and also the soundtrack. And I feel like this is a Joe Royale fact here. Did you know that this soundtrack was made by Paul Revere of Paul Revere and the Raiders?
Absolutely not. Are you serious?
The soundtrack of this movie.
How did that business meeting happen?
I think it was Roger Corman. Like you have Roger Corman to thank for this movie. Mm-hmm. And I think he was literally like, I know a guy, my buddy, who will do the soundtrack.
Wow.
Paul Revere was basically not doing much, obviously. And he was sitting at home fucking around with synthesizers. And he was like, score this movie, and gave one of the most iconic synth scores in the history of cinema. And
you have completely blown my mind. You have completely blown my mind with this.
I have a lot of dumb facts. Also, did you know that the dialogue was written by the deaf?
Written by the deaf?
This movie,
like somebody who is hearing impaired.
Yes, and by multiple people.
Oh yeah, like New York Ninja would be the same thing now.
Is okay? Did that? I don't know what that flick is.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you about that. We'll talk about New York Ninja.
That's a special one. Yeah.
But yeah. So essentially, Roger Corman took the Lone Wolf and Cub series and took about 10 to 15 minutes of the first movie and most of the second movie and married them together and was like, no one's going to want to care about this. We need to make a simple story that needs to be overdubbed in English. But I hate
Yep.
when it looks like in the kung fu movies that their mouths are moving and it doesn't match up. So I want it to look like they're speaking English as much as possible. And he hired a crew of hearing impaired, mouth reading, sign language people who sat in a room and rewrote the script with a basic outline that Roger Corman was like, it's about a shogun, an assassin, and it was like, we want a shogun assassin. And
Yeah.
And then they rewrote the whole script based on what it looks like they're saying.
Yeah.
His brain was infected with devils.
Yeah. What a great line.
And that was, what's it called, Kid. That was either Corman or the cinematographers.
Oh, yeah? Who did the voice?
Yeah, like after the fact, like brought him in, and it's one of the filmmakers. Kids.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So Lone Wolf and Cub is like the name of the Japanese
Yeah.
series. It's a huge manga, a huge movie series. The first one, Sword of Vengeance, 12 minutes of that. Second movie is Lone Wolf and Cub, Baby Cart in the River Styx. And then even then, they released Lone Wolf and Cub 3, Lightning Swords of Death, in America as Shogun Assassin 2.
Awesome.
Is that the one with the naked assassin with all the tattoos, with the body tattoos?
I believe so. It's been a long time since I've seen the
That's
Lightning
one
Sword.
of my favorite of the whole series in Lone Wolf and Cub. That female assassin who's gorgeous, and she has her body like all those crazy, scary tattoos all her body. And when she assassinates people, she drops all her clothes and goes naked. And the men like stare at her like that, and then she like dices everyone up and like runs away. One of the coolest characters in cinema.
I'm gonna dig out my copy of Lightning Swords, and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, like 90 minutes. It's literally nonstop action. There's no stop to it. It's like pulse pounding.
This is another one. I feel like it's 90 minutes soaking
It's
wet.
on the dot.
Yeah,
it is 90 minutes on the dot.
My VHS says an hour and 22 minutes. So it's an 82-minute movie.
These movies that we're talking about fit under two categories now that we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
They're either nonstop action from the moment you press play, or there's extreme spanses of dialogue or no action, and then just the worst things that could ever happen to a human body.
Well, yeah, that's like the thing. Yeah, they end the movie with something because they're like, oh, wait till you get to the end. They're like, no one will be seated during the head exploding scene.
Yeah, right. Here's your barf bag.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I think we talked about that, like smell.
Yeah, I got one. I got like Blood of the Demon or Blood of the Devil or something like that.
I have a Mark of the Devil.
That's what I have. Mark of the Devil. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark of the Devil or fag somewhere.
But yeah, like Shogun Assassin. Yeah, somebody actually in the chat thought we were gonna do Lady Snowblood, which is another phenomenal movie. Here we go. He's gonna pull out his Lady Snowblood.
I definitely have that because that's another one of my
Grail tapes or Desert Island movies.
Yeah, I've got both. Right, Lady Snowblood, and then what's the second one? Sword of Vengeance, I believe.
Yeah,
Love Song.
I haven't seen those.
It's a far more movie. And together, I'm trying to collect the entire series of films, because if you get all the Lone Wolf and Cubs and you get all the Lady Snowbloods, they all run on your wall. You know what I mean?
I see.
Cool thing. So it's like there's your one side, and you can get them all together. And I only have like 4 or 5 of the thing, but it's like a 16 movie series I'm trying to collect.
That's cool.
So if you're listening, I want the Lone Wolf and Cub VHS. I want to finish my collection.
It's like the Pee Wee Herman box set.
Yeah.
With him on the bike with the helmet. Yeah. But
if I would have known you were going to pick Shogun Assassin, I would have picked Lady Snowblood.
I mean, no, that's the joy. Yeah, it's in my top 5 movies of all time. I put it low because, yeah, you'll see. I'll talk.
Which
about
one,
it.
Shogun Assassin or
Shogun Assassin was my number 3. Lady Snowblood, Quentin Tarantino, like as much as he steals, like that's a whole nother thing about him stealing shit. Like Kill Bill is like Lady Snowblood, like light or diet.
Okay.
I mean, we've had a long stream here, so let's not like get me all worked up. But like, I'm a Quentin Tarantino apologist. I don't think he steals. I think he homages in a really good
Okay,
way.
that's fine.
And say that that movie is a Lady Snowblood movie is to also kick out the fact that that movie is also a Master of the Flying Guillotine and
Yeah.
Shogun Assassin and Five Fingers of Death. Like it's his kung fu like his
Love letter to kung fu. Yeah, yeah.
kung fu and samurai movies. You know, like I get it. It's the female protagonist and the baby, and like there's a lot of Lady Snowblood elements, but there's also like Golga 13 manga anime like influence in that movie. Like there's a lot going on in those movies. So yeah, I'll apologize for him in that. Not a thief.
No, I mean I'm a fan of Kill Bill, but he definitely definitely you can see the influence. Yeah, you can definitely see the Lady Snowblood influence.
Snowblood and Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You can see influences of those two in all of his movies.
Right. Yeah.
So in that sense, like
All right, number 2 for Ben.
Are we down? Me number 2?
Yep.
Yeah.
Have we all gone through? All right. Since we freed up that one with Shogun Assassin, this is the one I was going to talk about before. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. This is a movie called Street Law.
This is new to me. I'm not familiar with this.
I'm not familiar with this.
So the actual movie is called, oh God, I'm going to butcher it. So I shouldn't even try. It's got an Italian title. It's called like El Cittadine della Morte or something. And it's a mid-70s revenge copsploitation, Italian-made, starring Django himself, Franco Nero.
Oh, wow. All right.
Where he's just a guy who's going to deposit some money in a bank, and a bunch of dudes in ski masks and sawed-offs bust into the bank. They're as tough as it gets. I mean, they kick the crutches out from a little invalid child who's there. They're shoving barrels in the mouths of people, and they take Franco Nero hostage in order to get away, which then takes you into an amazing 70s Euro car chase. And basically, they use him to run away from the cops, and then they just ditch him on the street. And he's all traumatized. And the cops don't do anything. So he takes, matters into his own hands and finds these thugs, gets a sawed-off shotgun, and hunts them down. What makes this movie amazing is, again, the filmmaking and soundtrack. This may be pound for pound my favorite soundtrack of any movie ever. If you were to put a gun to my head and say, Ben, you are only allowed to score every movie with one soundtrack, this movie, done by Guido and Maurizio De Angelis, is the name of the soundtrack composers. You go in and you go on YouTube as soon as we're done this stream, and you type in Goodbye My Friend, Street Law soundtrack. Just Goodbye My Friend is the main theme. It's an overture through the movie. It's one of the fucking drippingest wet with reverb, psychedelic space echo, amazing dark gothic funk is what I would back of this. And like this whole movie, that's what's important about this movie to me. It's a very dripping, wet, reverb-soaked movie. Like literally, when he assembles this shotgun, that's one of the coolest shotguns in cinema history to me, where it has this it's a sawed-off shotgun, pump shotgun, right? But the barrel at the end, elephant guns out. So it tuba ends. So that blasting. And every time he cocks the shotgun, he cocks it the sound effect is in a space echo, delay pedal. So when he cocks it, it goes rides out in a trail, and he's in a warehouse shooting these dudes down in a really wonderful shot where they have every shot that he shoots someone with lined up. So he shoots a guy and it has the big reverb echo sound, and then that guy falls into a fish tank for some reason. Big way, his stomach explodes and then he falls into a fish tank. No one knows about this movie. No one talks about this movie. I've been petitioning to the Lunch Meat guys because they do VHS only movies. And while this movie is available on DVD, I don't believe this version where it's titled Street Law, and they cut it down again. I think this is an 77-minute,
Wow.
an hour and 40-minute Italian film that for American audiences, they cut down to 77 minutes of pure adrenaline, man.
I'm
Like,
sold.
even
I
when
am
there's not
sold.
action, it's soap opera. Like, the drama is soap opera where he's like, oh my God, they've attacked me. Like, it's amazing. Please watch, write it down, Street Law.
I'm writing it down right now. That's I'm sold on it, man.
That's it, baby.
Nice one.
Street Law.
Death Race 2000 is my number 2. I absolutely adore this movie. It's got everything that I could ask for in a film. It's got crazy cars. Sylvester Stallone, he's amazing, completely underrated.
Yeah.
People like a joke. I love him. He's great in the movie. You got Frankenstein. So then you got a masked hero, which I love, named Frankenstein, which I have tattooed on my arm. Not Frankenstein, but the monster Frankenstein. Anything Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But the idea that he is just he's interchangeable hero. That in like, you know, all the manipulation of the media and the dictatorship of Mr. President, and then just the killing. The killing is, I don't know, that this movie is weird. Like, sometimes it's kind of funny, other times it's like not funny. It's a very strange film. Once again, there's some really cool sets, like some really cool use of liminal space, you know, just like strange hallways. Very minimal but huge. Like, I don't know, it's got a weird tone to it. It's one of those, don't watch it if you got the flu. Like, don't watch it with a fever kind of thing. But really, it's got everything. It's got the gals, it's got cool guys, it's got the cars that look like they're from a carnival, the crazy deaths, the announcer who cracks me up. I love that guy. I got to be him for Halloween one year. But yeah, love it. Death Race 2000.
Another movie that I just will tag on top of that. One of the first movies that took me down this path. A movie that friends rented when we were 15 in video store, and we're like, "What's up with this movie that's called Death Race 2000?" And they took it home, and it's like seriously, like not soon after watching like Evil Dead did we find Death Race 2000. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those just like proto weirdo films that makes you end up having a friend years later argue that they won't sell you your TC 2000. Like, starts on a path where you're like, hey man, I think maybe these movies are movies that I like, that are really weird, fucked up, that I can't watch with my parents, you know? Like,
like a lot of these movies that I brought up are very tough to watch. There's nothing tough to watch about Death Race. It's just it's a fun movie. It's got all genres.
I mean, Roger Corman knew what he was doing for sure.
Yes, he did. He was a master at that point, you know?
I mean, Galaxy of Terror is another really good Roger Corman one.
Yeah.
But anyway,
What's your number 2?
Well, see, my number 2 is very controversial. Ben's going to be mad at me for this one. He's probably going to turn off the stream and never talk to me again. As I just talked shit about QT, Quentin Tarantino.
I knew it.
No, it's not. It's not. It's the other half. Planet Terror is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, it's phenomenal from beginning to end. I believe it's probably another 90-minute. Well, actually, Death Race is only 80 minutes. Speaking of great,
wow.
Yeah, talk about times. I want to say Planet Terror falls into the 90-ish minute. Let me just.
Can't be more than 90. That's got to be between 80 and 90.
I would say, like, especially because they did the double feature portion of it, that they would 91 minutes. Oh wait, 105 minutes on its own, and then 91 on the Grindhouse.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I have the Grindhouse Blu-ray where they put them together with the trailers and everything. It's the only way to watch it, I feel.
Yeah.
But I saw it in the theater twice because like it was so monumental to me.
In the theater, it was awesome in the theater.
Phenomenal. But Planet Terror on its own, So you got like the zombie outbreak from like some random ass army gas, right? That like infects this small Texas like area, and you got over the top like female like led badasses with a machine gun leg, like
Yeah, I mean,
fast.
I love that movie. I will say that my taste has changed throughout the time, and I like Death Proof more now.
Interesting.
But when I
Interesting.
went to see Grindhouse in the theaters, Planet Terror stole the show.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
I agree.
We were proto zombie heads. Like, it feels weird to say, but like you guys were probably there too. Like, well before The Walking Dead, like zombie wasn't a mainstream thing that
Yeah.
like 11-year-olds wore shirts with like on. Like, it was a thing that you had to find friends that were into zombie, and like showing someone Dawn of the Dead was like changing their life, and it was like, I'm gonna let you into my world.
Very
Like,
good point.
well, like, it was a very close-knit thing before it was now. It's almost like not cool to say that you like zombies anymore, but like it was a great modern zombie flick to us, like that viral zombie style, biohazard zombie, whatever you want to call. I know you guys did a full zombie episode, so there's many subgenres of zombie. But yeah, I call that movie a zombie flick, and at the time, it was definitely stole the show. Over the years, the more I watch Death Proof, I start to really like that movie more and more, and thinks it gets shit on too much. But Planet Terror, what a great midnight movie!
Yeah.
Like, I would even call that more of a midnight movie than a Grindhouse, and it's a great.
Yeah, and then like the gore is over the top. Like the zombies are like super like oozy and gooey, and then anytime a bullet hits them, it's like a water balloon explodes. There's like so much like snot and pus that flies out of them.
Right, that's the one thing that like it's almost like I would say it's more of like snot blood.
Yeah, it's like super.
Like,
yeah,
it's like Nickelodeon gack flies everywhere.
yeah. I mean, like you're speaking my language right now. Like, that. Yeah.
You know what's funny? We're
up?
talking about this, and we haven't brought up those. So, Grindhouse, the two movies, we were able to see that in the theater.
Yeah.
Which was such an incredible experience.
Wonderful experience.
And through this whole project of rewatching some of these movies and all that, I kept on thinking to myself, imagine going to a theater and watching these movies. Imagine going to a theater and watching Blood Feast on the big screen, Cannibal Holocaust on a big screen. I haven't had the opportunity to see any of these ones in particular.
Mahoning Drive-In, they played both of them.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Like, and to your point too, it's funny that you brought that up, because I watched both of them in the movie theater, and Planet Terror definitely knocked it out of the park. And then I watched, and it's been years, but 2 days ago I watched Death Proof, and I changed a little bit. I'm still like the gas needle goes back and forth, but there was something new about it that I was re-engaged with it again.
Yeah.
And another thing about it too, Machete trailer before Planet Terror actually ended up being like two movies. So that Machete's good too. I'm a huge Machete fan.
Great movie.
But yeah, like some great cameos by a lot of like genre actors in both of them. I mean, obviously Death Proof has Kurt Russell.
For me, who stole Planet Terror? How am I blanking on his name? That real good-looking old guy who sells the barbecue.
Yeah.
Am I blanking on that actor's name? He's like so good.
Yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah. God, I love that guy. His performances really stand out to me. JT.
Yeah.
Is the character's name, but how am I blanking on the dude? Great guys in Lawnmower Man, and all sorts of stuff.
That's it's interesting. It's like I think like what Rob Zombie probably had House of a Thousand Corpses at that time. Like that was it. So like it was like he was still like the genre guy, and he had like the She-Wolves of the SS, Werewolf Women of the SS trailer in it and stuff. But like interesting too to think, because he's notorious for, well, not notorious, but he's character actors in movies like Sid Haig, like resurgence of like Spider Baby, like the guy.
I would say that Devil's Rejects is a legit Grindhouse movie.
Oh, absolutely. It's got that.
So
It's got that yellow brown to it.
It's
I
a road movie. It's got all the things that we said. Like, I would say that was his chef's kiss to Grindhouse cinema.
I'm gonna have to put a postscript in this episode about my internal battle with including some of those films.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to focus on the originators, but House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects.
I know. That's why I put Planet Terror, because like it's a desert island movie to me. I could watch Planet Terror over and over and over. It's just fun. There's not much to it. Bruce Willis, great cameo, another great actor in it. Like definitely can't beat it for sure. And then like I think 2 episodes ago we talked about Devil's Rejects being like TCM and House of a Thousand Corpses being like Texas Chainsaw 2.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I could definitely see where he got the Grindhouse feel, especially because like TCM having that like and talk about sweaty and hot. That movie is like sweaty as all buckets come.
There's stories. There's stories from the set about how horrible that set smelled. Just rotten.
Which one? Devil's Rejects?
Oh no, TCM. We'll get to that. But
I mean, you could just hear the locusts in the back, like the cicadas and stuff. Like that movie is just like hot.
Put a pin in it. Put a pin in it.
At TCM? Okay.
Are we down to number 1 now?
That was my Joey. What's your number 2? I don't think Joey did you do it?
Yeah. Death Race 2000.
Oh, yeah. So we are at the top. Ben's number 1.
All right. Well, we already put a pin in this.
Yes, there it is.
This movie lives next to Shogun Assassin.
Wow.
So I know what 2 movies to grab when my house inevitably catches on fire. This is it. This movie changed my life. Written by psychopathic writer Paul Schrader, who also wrote Taxi Driver and Hardcore, 2 very disturbing films. This one is not much different. This Major Charles Rain is one of the coolest characters in cinema history to me. You hear like a lot of people say the character is stoic. This is a stoic character in this movie. This is the epitome of stoicism. This is the most stoic movie I've ever seen in my life, which explodes into one of the most joyous third acts in cinema history for me. I immediately started writing again after I saw this movie.
Wow.
It's oozing with cool. He's just one of the hands down coolest characters ever to me, down from his like Canadian tuxedo style denim outfits, his bomber jackets that he rocks, his amazing cast claw that he sharpens down. The first time I saw the scene where the actor William Devane takes his prosthetic claw and loads a .357 Magnum with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's been much more better stoic shots in cinema history to me. It's quiet, it's eerie. You hear the sound of the claw hitting the cylinder of the handgun when he saws down the barrel of his son's shotgun that he bought him. What that means figuratively, you've seen people saw the barrels off of shotguns in hundreds of movies. Never does the process of you sawing the barrel off of a shotgun represent the sawing off a piece of a man, another piece of this man who keeps losing pieces of himself.
Yeah.
Like time and time again, he loses a piece of himself in Vietnam. He loses a piece of himself back home when they put his hand in a garbage disposal. He loses a piece of himself when he saws the barrel off of his gun that his own son bought him before he died in order to spread his shot and makes sure he blows a bigger hole in someone. I can't think of a cooler movie. I'll let you guys, if you want to say anything about it, this is it for me. This is it, down to how cool that cover is. One of the coolest covers ever. I have 2 Rolling Thunder t-shirts. If you know me personally, and now you both do, you know how much this movie means to me.
Yeah, it really hit me when I watched it. The scene where he goes over to Tommy Lee Jones's house, like when they're having dinner with Grandpa and stuff, and he just like pulls him out. It's like, I gotta talk to you. I found him. Okay. And then you see Tommy Lee Jones walk out in his military uniform. Like, I got a little like choked up. I'm like, whoa.
Well, before Major Charles Rain walks in, Tommy Lee Jones looks dead. They're talking to him about his old life, about an old quarterback star, and he looks like he's a dead person sitting there. And then William Devane walks in and tells him, I found the guys, let's go get them. And then from that point on, Tommy Lee Jones has a grin on his face that shows a representation of life again. It's a better grin than any Joker in any film. He has
no
a more
questions asked
grin in that movie that's more harrowing than the Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson Joker to me.
I think the exchange is, I found the guys. I know where they are. Then he goes, I'll get my gear. Like this. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for you to come to my house. Absolutely. Bye, Dad. I'm going out. And he's got his hat on and his greens. He's like, I'm out. And it's like, there's no, and then that's it. Then they just go to the chicken shack and there's no discussion. It's just business. That is what he has been programmed to do. It's heartbreaking.
Final action scene is so good. It's so masterful. And what I think, after watching it 100 times, why I think it's so great now is I feel like that action, and maybe I'm out of line, but if you just saw it recently, you can back me up. I feel like that action scene is not shot like an action scene. It's shot like the third act of a horror movie.
Yeah.
The way that it's filled with jump scares.
Yep.
And really explosive, graphic gore. It just doesn't feel like an action scene from Cobra or even from the 70s, like a Death Wish before it feels like it's meant to be off-putting.
It's like it's real. It's like a gunfight. It's not like choreographed. This is like gunfire in close quarters.
Right. And like really scary. And and it's just, God, I can talk about it forever. And I saved it for my number 1. And the last thing I want to say about it is every movie on my list so far has had some of the most amazing and iconic soundtracks ever. Rolling Thunder barely even has a soundtrack. Most of the soundtrack of that film is jangling keys.
Yep.
Cigarettes getting lit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the sound in that movie is like an ASMR film.
Yeah.
When he drags something across the table, the beer, you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, it's an important part. The sound takes there is no soundtrack. It's a movie with sound that you're forced to listen to these little things. All right, shut up. I'm sure we're almost at 12 o'clock. You guys go. That's my movie, man. Rolling Thunder. Did you ever see it, Brian?
I've never seen it. I'm aware of it. I've definitely seen trailers for it and stuff.
He's gone.
I knew it. I'll it's just never been on my list. I've seen it or like trailers and stuff. I'm aware of it, and I know like the iconicness of it and the scenes and stuff. Just not my style.
Yeah, it should be. You'd be a lot cooler if you did. What's that line from Dazed and Confused?
Be a lot cooler if you did. Yeah, I'll definitely watch it.
One of the coolest movies I've ever seen.
Very nice, very nice. Joey, I assume yours is TCM.
TCM with a side plate of The Hills Have Eyes.
Ooh, interesting. A little Wes Craven added.
Yeah, so I mean they're two different movies, but it's got a similar kind of feel for me. It's
Yeah,
the
I
out
mean, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's
the
yeah.
outsiders meet the travelers. It is
Exploitation,
yep,
mutation.
sweat, stink, cannibalism, everything that is everything that turns our stomachs. I kid you not, the first time I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I actually threw up. I was watching. It's horrible. Horror movies don't make me sick, but I was eating a chicken roll, which is like kind of like a stuffed bread with a chicken cutlet, marinara, and mozzarella. This was in college. It was late at night. It was a long night, one of those nights, and I bit into it during the scene with Grandpa with the hammer.
Yeah, trying to hit the girl.
Yeah, and I got a piece of like a cartilage.
Gristle, a little gristle.
Oh, forget it. Between that, what I had drank that night and that scene, I ran to the bathroom and my roommates ripped me apart. Mr. Horror, Mr. Gore, throwing up over TCM. But that just movie. Oh, freshman year of college, my roommate had the Titanic poster and a little knitted crucifix on his wall. My wall was a shrine devoted to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That movie, from the beginning scene, the noise, the pictures, and just it's one of those things.
Frozen history.
Yeah, you get it. The disease that's up in this head. Once again, the production of it. How did you get through this? You can tell it's blistering hot. It's blistering hot, and those are real animal parts all over the place.
Yeah.
Just disgusting. It seeps through. It is nothing but that yellow, orange patina over the whole film.
Mm-hmm.
Quintessential. And then right next to it is his little brother to me, The Hills Have Eyes, which is just a different setting. You bring it to the desert, you add some mutations and the atomic bomb to it, but one by one, you're picking off people going where they shouldn't be going. It's all, if you really melt it down, they're all studies in family.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Not the family that not your normal old, 2.5 kids in a white picket fence family. They were telling us that those are the types of families we should have, but those other families are out there.
And then the other families, if you focus too much on tradition and going along with what the rest of the family does, you get yourself in trouble.
Yeah,
so
Texas Chainsaw style.
Yep.
For sure.
So those are mine. Brian, I can't wait to hear yours.
Well, hang on a second, because we're on our ones here, and do you have anything to say about Texas Chainsaw, Brian?
We talk a lot about Texas Chainsaw on this show. I'm sure we talked about 2. We talked about.
He's got chainsaws tattooed on his chest, Ben.
Yeah, I got a Leatherface on the arm and then chainsaws. Yeah.
Yeah, and hey, I know that movie's been talked to hell, but the 2 little quick things I'll add.
Yeah, you can add whatever you want.
Please.
Is first of all, like we mentioned, maybe the best intro in for me, when I saw that, the beginning, the first 5 minutes of the movie is what set the pit in my stomach for the rest of the movie.
Yep.
It was so off-putting and perfectly, it just lays the aesthetic on with a paint roller, from the movie starts, and that overdub of the voice and that sound effect cut to the dead flesh that you're seeing flies on, and really kicked off the kids in a van thing that then got beaten to death in the 80s. It's just such a proto version of that. And the other little quick thing I'll say is it's also, which you mentioned way earlier in this stream, Joey, it's the first movie for me that when I watched it, now that crazy aesthetic is laid in thick in the first 5 minutes, and it put a pit in my stomach and made me really want to gag throughout the movie. Even though you're not seeing quarts of blood or anything, it's just
barely
feeling.
A drop.
And then I found myself halfway through the movie, linking around to what you were talking about earlier, Joey, actually no longer thinking about the characters in the film, but in fact, the filmmaking process.
Mm-hmm.
halfway through the movie, I'm going, yeesh, what was this set like? What, when did they just call cut? Like, and then what happened? Everyone got, Leatherface put the girl down and they all clapped. Like, this is harrowing shit here.
It's almost real, man.
It's almost creepier to be on the movie set.
Right. That's
that
exactly, Ben. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
and that's what I was trying to get at, and you handled it more eloquently than I did. It's like the fact that these are being filmed with a small cast. These are little tiny film cults that are sending their doomsday message. It's you know it.
Yeah, man. I'm with you.
A couple things I'll add that we talked about. I mean, it's ingrained in popular culture that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based on a true event, even though it's not.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, everybody always talks, oh, yeah, Texas Chainsaw, that's, like, based on true events. Like, well, I mean, like Ed Gein and, like, a hodgepodge of, like, serial killers, sure. But, yeah, they lay it on thick with the, like, 1978, 5 teenagers went into the backwoods of Texas. Like, that whole, like deadpan, like, police, like, reporting.
Yeah.
In the beginning sets the scene where people thought it was real. I think it does say like based on true events or something.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So like, so ingrained into it already, you already have a sense of like, damn, this really happened, even though it technically didn't. And then another thing is that Leatherface mask, like all of them in that movie are so haunting, and
Can't beat them.
And they can't, and they never could. They can never replicate those original Leatherface masks.
I agree so much with that, Bri. Nothing can ever beat those. And I'll tell you one more thing. One of Joey Royale's rules of good horror, most of it takes place during the day. Like Dawn of the Dead. The fact that they can get that across in the daytime. I don't need you to turn off the lights. It's scary. Keep the lights on. It's scarier.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like, because like, a little.
Same with Hills Have Eyes. It's a daytime horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, I mean, like, if you think about it, like, you always talk about, like, your house being haunted or something, and it's, like, nighttime, but, like, well, what if the ghost appears when the lights are on? Like, that's even more scary, because you've got nothing. That's your line of defense. I'll just turn the light on, right? As a kid and everything, you always thought like that. But, like, if the ghost appears and the lights are already on, there's nothing between you and the phantasm, if you will.
Yep.
The great beyond is at your doorstep. But anyway, so not really even like a transition or all, but like Grindhouse being revenge is like a big theme. I'm surprised nobody I Spit on Your Grave wasn't on anybody's list.
It's not good enough to me.
Oh, okay. We got a fucking film snob. I'm sorry, but it's not my number one. It's not my number one. So
dumb torture porn.
Yeah, but like
one of Americans, dude. It's not.
Yeah, but it's like it's the perfect Grindhouse because it was a bad movie and then it did poorly with its original title, like I don't even remember what it was. It was something stupid, and then they rebranded it as I Spit on Your Grave, and it made like a shit ton of money.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, like the business side of it is very Grindhouse.
Listen,
but that's not my number one.
I'm an advocate for nudity in film. That's a controversial enough statement these days.
Yes.
I don't think there's enough nudity in cinema. And I think a lot of it was we don't get enough good representation of nudity. I hate rape nudity. I hate it. I don't want to be tantalized while I'm also being sickened. Like,
yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Don't show me a glamour shot of her beautiful breasts while something horrific is happening. And that was an epidemic in filmmaking at that time.
Yeah.
And, we don't get enough of like innocent boobs, butt cheeks, hanging dong. Like, we don't get enough classic, good old fashioned good nudity because it gets clouded by rape nudity. And by the third time that they raped that woman, I was done. I mean, I've watched the whole movie more than once, but like, I was just like, this is good grief.
I watched it once. I'll never watch it again.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, I was just surprised because it's so like intertwined with the Grindhouse name that it didn't even get brought up.
Yeah, but it's still trash. And like I said, I picked all tour cinema.
So with that being said, the other rape revenge movie, of course, Last House on the Left, is my number one pick. I mean,
What-
it's it's not my favorite movie. It's not even like remotely close to any of my. I like Basket Case, Bad Taste,
Yeah.
Dolomite, Shogun Assassin, Planet Terror, way better. But it's the epitome to me of like the Grindhouse scene, and then like we could never get a copy of it like in high school and everything. It was like the forbidden fruit, you know. So finally,
Yeah.
like at a VHS store, like the comic book guy from The Simpsons who worked there was like sold us a boot for like $20, like on a like a with like in a brown paper bag, and we thought like we were the coolest kids. So then we watched it, and it was like, I mean, it's all right.
God, that's the way that had to elevate. He did it perfectly.
Yeah,
If he
exactly.
bootlegged it, charged you $20 and gave it to you in a brown bag, you saw that movie the best possible way you could see it.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
that's
Grindhouse right there.
yeah.
the
So
grind.
like generally, like my number ones always have a story with them, like a person. You ever notice that, Joey? Like,
Yeah. I love it. That's what I want to hear. Yeah.
yeah. So like, yeah, every time I was, you know, it's funny actually, an apropos out of this, but I was like, I got all like parents were up, you know, like all last week helping me move,
Yeah.
so they're like my wife was so moved at my X-Men McDonald's story. She was like, "Oh, you know, like tell your parents, you know, blah blah blah." So I get this heartfelt story about like this whole thing, and my dad's like, "I don't remember any of that," you know, like typical
Yeah.
parent, like the
Yeah,
biggest
yeah.
day of my life. Like they don't
Yeah.
remember it. It's
Just
just
another day.
yeah, just another day to them. I was like, awesome, thanks.
I
But
think,
yeah,
I think if the aliens
You're not
came,
alone.
yeah,
if the aliens came to Earth and they demanded one Grindhouse, like describe Grindhouse,
yeah,
you could give them Last House on the Left, and I think that would get them their information that they needed for their library.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like you got like a chainsaw. You know, any good movie, any movie with a chainsaw in it is good if you really think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pieces was like one of the
Pieces?
first Chainsaw movies.
It
Yeah.
was. It's the first chainsaw movie.
Is
I
it the first? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess for a genre define, like, you know, what movie defines the genre? If you get one movie for each genre, we talked about the ones that spoke to us and that, made us think. But if you had to say, give me the one for the library, the library in Miami, the Ninja Library, where's it going to go? It's that one, I think. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's more about like what the movie stands for and the
Yeah.
story behind it to me than the actual movie itself.
Yeah. Wow. What a genre. This,
Did it.
out of all the genres that we've explored,
Hmm.
which one is, I mean, clearly it's the most disturbing, but what does it say about the American experience? Most of these, with the exception of the Kung Fu movies, I think we all picked American-made films.
Well, no, Ben picked a lot of Italian ones.
Yeah, I ran the
Oh,
I
yeah,
ran
yeah.
the global gamut, but for the most part, yeah. A lot of them though, I gave you the American version of, like I was
Yeah.
saying,
Well, yeah, I mean, like
Like-
generally that's what makes it Grindhouse is
Right.
yeah.
which is like the Grindhouse element to it. Like really, it's this movie, but it was retooled into that movie. For
I love it
American
when
audiences, and,
people
like,
protest music or current music or current TV shows where you really stop and you be like, wait a second, did you not forget that like your generation during the 70s came out with just movie after movie about revenge with gore and nudity and like a lot of these have a vein of racism through them. Almost
Absolutely.
every one of these movies has some racist comment in it.
Yeah, oh,
Master of the Guillotine is one of the most racist movies you could say on the list. And
well,
I
yeah.
have been told that by my Japanese friend, who I didn't understand all the different layers of racism between the different styles and where people come from.
Uh-huh.
Oh, they're making fun of of Thailand people. They're making fun of the Japanese here. they're making fun of Koreans here. Like, and like, that's kind of the thing. He did it with like all Asian races. And I guess that was what his thought was. You know what I mean? He's poking fun at everyone, but like every one of those different nationalities gets poked at in that movie.
Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, Fight for Your Life is like notoriously racist. The Grindhouse movie that like I
mean,
left
I
off.
pick Coffee. Coffee's one of my favorite movies, but I stayed away from that because it has such racial.
Well, I mean,
you know,
there's like Nazi exploitation, like as a whole genre, like.
Yeah.
Well, even in Death Race 2000, there's like one of the drivers is like a it's a female like Nazi, like it's like, but there's like I don't know. It's Grindhouse films are a disturbing chapter in film history.
Well, I mean, it's like it's a car wreck on film. Like everyone pays to see it. I mean, we didn't even get into like Mondo.
Literally,
Yeah,
some of these movies, like Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. The whole point of like, well, it's a car wreck. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna give you at the end.
Yeah,
crazy. It's like, yeah, you can't pull your eyes away from it. But once again, the theater aspect of it, that people would sit in, that they would go out in their car, they would get into the theater and watch these. Most of the time, if it was a Grindhouse, you'd be watching several of these one afternoon and into the evening.
Yeah.
Imagine soaking into your brain. When we were not desensitized yet to this stuff, where every other movie now, you know, is like this, but like these were appalling. These were shocking. They actually were, people were shocked. This was a whole new thing that they were exposed to.
Yeah.
Yep. That is a thing. It's very interesting to think about.
Well, this was fun. This was one of my favorites.
And really, thank you guys so much for having me. I'd love to be back on. I know that Ted, my partner, would love to be on as well.
Yeah, maybe we can we'll get you both on for the next one.
It would be great to do a actual play.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Or we could do a kids adventure movie episode.
Yeah, we could, Brian. That's a good idea.
All movies with kids in them.
Yeah, yeah. Kids movies.
Don't Tell Mom and Dad is currently available for purchase now. The Kickstarter has been sent out, and now
Kickstarter fulfillment's there. It gets picked up by the man on Monday. All the boxes are sitting in my living room right now. Everything's been put together. $25 for the game.
Yep.
Available at don'ttellmomanddad.com. It'll send you right over to the our big cartel. I don't know if other stuff's there, but we have some T-shirts left. I don't know if we put them up online.
Ooh.
Other fun goodies. Yeah, I think I'm actually.
There it is. The Super Soaker of Death.
Kid blasting a Dracula in the face with a Super Soaker.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, it just went up live today. This is the first day you can get it online. That wasn't a pre-order.
Hell
And
yeah.
you're gonna ordered it. And after Joey, because Joey beat you to it today.
I mean, I literally beat everybody to it.
I know you
Number
did.
one backer.
Number one.
You gotta give the Neon Lord his due.
Always. It's no, I'm just kidding. And I did a quote for the Kickstarter too. Just saying.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
But yeah, thanks for coming, Joey. What do you got for the people? Anything to put out?
We got going on? No, I don't think so. I'm taking it easy right now. I'm working on, going to be hopefully working on some Neon Lord stuff. Maybe crossing streams, some Ninja City and Neon Lord. We'll see what comes out of that. But yeah, I'm trying to think about what's going to be my summer project right now. So I'm going to take some advice that I found on the pizza party the other night. Is just I'm going to try to be bored. I haven't stopped in a long time. So now that we're ending nearing the end of the school year, I want to take some time just to figure out what my next move is going to be creatively. Got some ideas.
Very nice.
So
Awesome.
Sounds good. Yep. So I think so next week I'm gonna do a live game. I'm gonna run some Neon Lords on the channel at this time, and then in 2 weeks we're gonna do Popcorn Primavera. So there won't be a Ravioli for Randy for another 4 weeks, unless we do unless we do a popcorn primavera, then just push raviolis back 1 week.
Yeah, we could do like that.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll put it out to the people. Thanks for everyone who stuck around to the end. I know it's a slog, especially like always we hit about 3 hours every time. We're 3 hours 17 now. But it's a great show, great episode. Ben, thanks for coming on.
Ben, thank you. Thank you to everybody that commented in the chat and joined us once again. We got some good friends in that crew, Bri.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, at that, I'm gonna sign out with the intro again, just for people who missed it, and I just love it. And then it's the best song Joey's ever written, hands down.
I think so.
All right, see you guys next week.
See ya.
Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are. We just want you to enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to visit our refreshment center during the intermission or any time. You love the tasty arrangement.